Chapter 131. Today's first chapter. After the computer systems audit, Luo Feng and Candace's staked battle will begin on July 29 at 9:15 a.m. July 29, the morning was a bit hot. In Jiangnan Pagoda, Luo Feng, Zhao Ruo's clear voice resounded throughout the entire Jiangnan Pagoda. Senior Luo Feng appeared on the balcony of the second floor of the pagoda and looked down at Zhao Ruo. "Why are you calling me so early in the morning? Why? How can you be so calm, as if nothing happened?" Zhao Ruo's eyes widened. "I heard it when I was eating breakfast in the cafeteria. You and that Candace are going to have a staked battle this morning. And you actually bet 10 billion with him? 10 billion, this is a huge number even for a war god. Even though these geniuses are roped in by various countries and organizations, they are still extremely wealthy. However, they have to spend money to buy instruction manuals and battle uniforms. If they weren't confident, who would bet 10 billion? Hurry and tell me, is this true?" urged Zhao Ruo. "It's true," nodded Luo Feng. F***ck. Zhao Ruo looked at Luo Feng as if she was looking at a crazy person. "Crazy, really crazy, senior. I'm going to meditate and prepare for the battle to the death in the morning." Luo Feng returned to his quiet room. Luo Feng returned to his study room. Facing this senior who was more intrepid than a man, Luo Feng felt it was better to hide. In the quiet room, the smell of sandalwood permeated the air. Luo Feng sat cross-legged and his heart was as calm as water. As a veteran who has fought 36 battles in a row in July, Luo Feng was very clear that when two people with similar strength engage in a battle to the death, it's hard to say who will win. For example, if one of them is in a bad state of mind, he might be instantly killed by his opponent. And if he's in a good state, he can kill his opponent. The best state is when one's heart is as calm as water, a completely empty state. That being said, how many people could truly be as calm as still water, without any distracting thoughts? 2 hours later. In the lobby of the 9th floor of the largest building in the elite training camp, the 9 grand floors, there are a total of 183 students in the training camp. Including the war god teacher, there are barely over 200 people, and right now around 100 people are gathered here. Compared to the battle between Luo Feng and William, who knows how many more people are gathered? A bet of 10 billion. In the entire year of training camp, it was rare to encounter such a huge bet, and one of them is the standard, excellent old students Candace and Paulinus, and the other is the rapidly rising new student Luo Feng. In this battle, Candace has a higher chance of winning. Among the students of the European Union faction, a handsome young man who looked like an elf was surrounded by a group of people like stars surrounding the moon. He made an evaluation of this battle. Luo Feng is very intelligent and has great comprehension in the life and death battle. His chances of winning aren't small on China's side. Shi Jiang also evaluated in the middle of a group of youths. Candace will win. On the American faction side, a petite black girl, like a saintess, calmly announced the verdict. Candace has a 70% chance of winning. Luo Feng, 30%. On the Indian side, a tall, bald, brawny man, who looked like a Buddhist arhat, said slowly. All the influential figures in the elite training camp made their own judgment. Even the weakest of these influential figures has the strength to make it into the top 10. Any one of them can easily defeat Luo Feng and Candace. Last time, Luo Feng and William's battle didn't attract many influential figures. However, today's battle attracted many people. Since Luo Feng and Candace are quite strong, and the stakes are high enough, Candace and Paulinus, Luo Feng, enter the challenge room. An electronic voice echoed around the lobby of the 9th floor. Luo Feng, who has been meditating at the edge of the Chinese faction, opened his eyes. "Luo Feng, do your best," encouraged teacher Jiang Feng on the side. Luo Feng looked at teacher Jiang Feng and then at his Chinese compatriots on the side. He nodded and headed towards the challenge room. Candace also walked out of the crowd and headed towards the challenge room. After opening the door to the challenge room, Luo Feng and Candace entered one after another. After that, the door automatically closed. Luo Feng laid on the sofa and picked up his dark blue helmet. He couldn't help but to glance at Candace. Candace also turned his head and stared at Luo Feng with his dark blue pupils. If looks could kill, Luo Feng would have been cut into a few dozen pieces already. Luo Feng, don't lose too badly. That would be too boring. As he said that, Candace licked his lips like a venomous snake. Luo Feng grinned and directly put on his helmet. Candace also put on his helmet. In the virtual space, Luo Feng and Candace both swiftly put on their battle uniforms and chose their weapons. After that, Luo Feng, who has a relatively low ranking on the Black Dragon ranking, chose his battle setting. A ruined city under a torrential rain. Pa, 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 pa. The torrential rain poured down. Every single drop of rain heavily smashed into this ruined city. The tall buildings have long since decayed, and some even collapsed. On a two-way street with 4 lanes, there were quite a few overturned rusted cars. At this moment, 2 figures appeared on the street at the same time. Luo Feng, Candace, you actually chose a stormy battle setting? Candace, who was wearing a black battle uniform, looked at Luo Feng from a few dozen meters away. Luo Feng's gaze was cold. His blade technique, Thunderbolt, contained a bit of the concept of thunderbolt. He learned it after watching the lightning before the storm and then training hard in the rainy night. When he normally trains his blade technique, Luo Feng also discovered that his thunderbolt technique is much easier to use in a rainy environment. Battle begin! An electronic voice resounded in the sky above the ruined city. Whoosh! Candace's body became a blur, as if he had merged with the storm and swiftly charged towards Luo Feng. Clang! Luo Feng drew his blade like lightning and also swiftly charged forward. Whoosh! The blood shadow saber swung up like lightning, and the cold light slashed at Candace's neck. And Candace's gaze was cold. His entire body was like a venomous snake in a storm. The long sword in his hand was like a venomous snake's tongue as it pierced towards Luo Feng's head. At the same time, the sound of air braking carried over. It was actually a piece of metal from a car. The metal piece shot towards Luo Feng's ghost blade. The sharp sword pierced towards Luo Feng's head. Retreat! Luo Feng instantly made a decision. With his perfect level technique, he naturally understood that he was at a disadvantage when the metal piece shot towards him. As he retreated, a snow-white blade light flashed. Under the power of 2.8x, the ghost blade's light was indeed moving. It was like lightning or mist, and it seemed even more dreamy under the storm. As it brushed past the metal piece, it also cut through the astonishingly fast long sword. Blade technique, Thunderbolt. Clang! Clang! With 2 sounds, Luo Feng retreated 30 meters away under his full power. Perfect level technique? Luo Feng looked at Candace in the distance. Humph! A cold snort rose. Candace, who was dressed in black, said coldly, surprised? As long as the 4th and 5th year students aren't too bad, most of them have a perfect level technique. Some of them have even reached the conception level. No matter how amazing you are, you're just a new student. After saying that, Candace attacked once again. Who? When Candace's blurry silhouette neared, it seemed like there were 2 of them. Pung! Luo Feng kicked the broken car beside him. The force of his kick, which exceeded 20 tons, caused the broken car to instantly explode. Large amounts of car parts flew everywhere and flew towards Candace's direction. Die! Luo Feng instantly rushed over and actually caught up to the flying car part. Whoosh! As the snow-white blade light flashed, the blade light swiftly enveloped Candace. And Candace was like a venomous snake hiding in the night. He flashed strangely again and again, and the long sword in his hand easily blocked Luo Feng's wave after wave of blade attacks. Sometimes he even counterattacked. Clang! 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 The surrounding car parts and shards all became tools for both sides to affect each other. Every step and every movement of the body used the environment to its fullest extent. While the car parts didn't affect him, they affected his opponent's movements. A perfect level movement technique versus a perfect level movement technique. Luo Feng's blade technique was like bolts of lightning, unceasing and unending. And Candace's blade technique was unceasing. Sometimes it would strangely defend against each attack, and sometimes it would attack again and again. Poochie! A black shadow actually stuck to the edge of the hexagonal shield. That long, thin blade actually curved and directly went around. The blade actually went around Luo Feng's left arm that was holding the shield, and lightly pulled. Poochie! From the crook of his arm, the arm that was holding the shield directly fell to the ground. Luo Feng's body seemed to teleport as he retreated a few dozen meters away. My left arm is broken. Luo Feng's face was ugly. Luo Feng, my fist strength is 5x. In terms of speed and strength, you are indeed stronger than me. Candace laughed coldly as he walked over step by step, like a death god in the rain. Sadly, my blade technique combined with my technique far surpasses yours, even though Candace's Chinese wasn't very fluent. Luo Feng's face was pale. One reason was because of blood loss, and two, because he realized where the problem lay. Candace's technique was perfect, and his blade technique reached the hard and soft level, which was even higher than his blade technique. And a sliver of Candace's blade technique belonged to the strangeness of a venomous snake. And Candace's technique was also that kind of strange technique. Both his technique and his blade technique belonged to the strange category. When the two are combined, the effect is even better. Without the shield, you're dead for sure. Candace's eyes had a bit of madness in them. He can finally get his revenge for once. Humph! Luo Feng explosively retreated and dashed into the shop next to him. It's no use. Candace also walked in step by step. This broken shop even leaked water from the storm. There was a pond on the floor of the shop, and a drop of water would occasionally drip down from the roof. The surface of the pond was like a mirror that reflected Luo Feng's appearance. Luo Feng lowered his head and looked at his reflection in the pond. As the drop of water dripped down, the originally calm mirror-like surface of the water suddenly started to ripple. Mirror ripple? 9-stage Thunderblade strength? Luo Feng slightly frowned. Mirror? Mirror? Luo Feng's expression was a bit blank. Mirror? Luo Feng let out a face of joy. And at this time, Candace, who slowly walked into the shop, was like a gentleman attending a banquet. He walked towards Luo Feng with a thin sword in his hand and smiled. Luo Feng, this 10 billion is mine, no thanks. As he said that, his body dashed forward like a ghost. The thin black sword in his hand drew a strange arc as it slashed towards Luo Feng's neck. You're the one who gave me 10 billion! Luo Feng roared. His body fiercely dashed forward. Who? His speed had actually reached a frightening level, and he was actually able to dodge Candace's terrifying sword strike. At the same time, a snow-white saber light was like a bolt of lightning that appeared out of nowhere in the shop. It was so fast that Candace couldn't dodge it at all. Poochie! A head rolled and flew into the air. Luo Feng's dashing figure already appeared in the street 10 meters behind Candace under the storm. Pung! Candace's headless corpse fell down. P.S. Chapter 1 here. Chapter 132. Today is the second chapter. In the training room, Candace's and Luo Feng's consciousness were kicked out of the virtual space at almost the same time. I lost. I lost? Candace was still wearing his dark blue helmet. His vision was pitch black, but he didn't take off his helmet. He just sat there silently. How could I lose? I can't lose, it shouldn't be. His arm was already broken, so I had the complete advantage. His final blade. His final speed. Candace sat on the sofa as he clenched his fists so hard that his knuckles turned white. Hate, he really hated. From Luo Feng's final speed and blade speed, Candace understood one thing. Luo Feng's fist strength increased by a huge amount. At the last moment, he actually managed to turn the tables? How could this happen? Breaking through in the middle of a battle, I actually encountered something like this? Candace's body was slightly trembling. One reason was because he lost 10 billion Chinese dollars in this battle. After all, he's only the heir to the family, not the head of the family. This amount of money is a huge amount to him. Secondly, because of the matter of chasing after his girlfriend, Candace hated Luo Feng, his rival in love, to the point of grinding his teeth. He held in his anger and finally had the chance to teach Luo Feng a lesson. Who would have thought that not only would he fail, he would be taught a lesson? This is humiliating. Finally, what made Candace angry was, he taught Luo Feng a lesson and wanted Luo Feng to lose a huge amount of money. Who would have thought that not only did his opponent earn money, but he also helped his opponent break through? Candace played a huge part in Luo Feng's breakthrough. Of course, the main reason for Luo Feng's breakthrough was because Luo Feng already completed the 3rd stage of the 9-stage Thunderblade before he came to the training camp. He trained hard every day in the training camp and didn't dare to slack off. His control over his strength became more and more precise, and his foundation became more and more solid. Even without this flash of inspiration, Luo Feng would have naturally reached the 4th stage in another 3 to 5 months. However, being able to do it 3 to 5 months earlier is still a good thing. This battle indeed took some factors into consideration. How could Candace not be angry after suffering a double loss? How could he accept this? Challenge: Luo Feng wins. The electronic voice echoed around the lobby of the 9th floor and could even be heard in the training room. Candace's body trembled slightly before he took off the dark blue helmet. Candace, thanks this time, Luo Feng was already standing in front of the door. Humph! Candace snorted coldly and left the sofa as well. Suddenly, melodious music came from the cell phone in Luo Feng's pocket. This sound made Candace's face even worse. However, Luo Feng smiled as he took out his cell phone and looked at the message on his cell phone. As expected, it was a notification from the bank about the change in the balance. A total of 20 billion was transferred. 10 billion came from the training camp's challenge system account, and the other 10 billion came from Luo Feng. Crack! The door swung open. Luo Feng and Candace walked out one after the other. With a glance, they saw that the lobby of the 9th floor was extremely rowdy. Quite a few war god teachers and influential figures of the elite training camp were shocked. After all, from the perspective of the god of war teacher and the famous people of the training camp, Candace had a higher chance of winning. They all knew that the concept of Candace's movement technique and swordsmanship combined had a stacking effect. This was also why Luo Feng, who had the advantage in strength and speed, was still suppressed by his opponent and had his arm cut off. Luo Feng! Haha, Luo Feng, impressive, especially the Chinese students. Quite a few of them gave him a thumbs up or excitedly greeted him. Luo Feng smiled as he walked over. In contrast to Luo Feng, Candace's face was so bad that it was almost black. He barely managed to say a few words to a few strong students before swiftly returning to his living quarters. This time, Candace couldn't vent his anger and instead, he was filled with anger. Hate Luo Feng and hate himself for losing. Late at night, Luo Feng was alone in his study. After video chatting with his family, he still couldn't suppress the joy in his heart. He really made a killing this time. Earning 10 billion isn't the most important thing. The most important thing is that he actually finished comprehending the 4th stage of the 9-stage Thunderblade. The 4th stage of the 9-stage Thunderblade is indeed difficult. I quickly comprehended the first 3 stages, but I couldn't break through the 4th stage when I was in Jiangnan headquarters city. After coming to the training camp, my blade technique and power control have improved a lot. However, I still can't break through. Luo Feng was filled with emotions. During the battle in the virtual space, the scene of the water droplets creating ripples on the surface of the water was very similar to when he first comprehended the second stage of the 9-stage Thunderblade. The water droplets create ripples. The important thing isn't the ripples or the water droplets, it's the mirror-like water surface. Luo Feng sighed. Only the surface of the water becomes calmer, so calm that there aren't any ripples. Then, as the water droplets fall, the ripples will become clearer. Fist strength is the same. The key to strength isn't the waves of hidden energy. It's the muscles and tendons of the body that the hidden energy travels through. After understanding this, Luo Feng, who already had a huge improvement in his power control, directly comprehended the 4th stage. The 4th stage. Now that I've comprehended the 4th stage, my fist strength has reached 3. 5. Luo Feng's eyes flashed, and my Tower of Trials level is 3. 4, just a bit off. 3 4 times 3. 5 is only 11. 9. Just a bit more. If my Tower of Trials level reaches 3. 5, my battle ability amplifier will surpass 12, according to the contract with the Dojo of Limits. As long as your battle ability amplifier reaches 12 before August 1st, you'll receive a 9th series battle uniform, a full set of weapons, a full set of instruction manuals, and a portion of dragon blood worth 80 billion. This is a huge reward. Ignoring the dragon blood worth 80 billion, Luo Feng definitely wants the complete 9-stage Thunderblade instruction manual. Keep in mind that the complete 9-stage Thunderblade instruction manual costs 100 billion. Even at half price, it's still 50 billion. What's more, the requirement for half price is a 4-star contribution level. When will Luo Feng reach a 4-star level? And right now, he can get a complete instruction manual for free. A complete instruction manual, dragon blood, battle uniform, and weapons. Even at half price, it'll definitely surpass 100 billion. When will I be able to afford it? Luo Feng was full of confidence. Now, his speed and strength have greatly increased. There's no way his Tower of Trials level can't even increase by 0.1. I still have 2 more Tower of Trials this month. One is tomorrow night, and the other is the night after tomorrow. Thought Luo Feng to himself. Tomorrow on the 30th, my battle ability amplifier will surpass 12. Last month, Luo Feng ranked in the top 50. So in July, Luo Feng had 4 hours of Tower of Trials time, 1 hour each on the 9th, 25th, 30th, and 31st. The reason why he arranged it this way is because the battle ability amplifier will end at midnight on August 1st. Of course, Luo Feng arranged for 1 hour of training on the last 2 days. Battle ability amplifier 12. I'll definitely reach it. On the second day, Luo Feng spent most of his time in the underground room to familiarize himself with the 4th stage of the 9-stage Thunderblade. After dinner, he rested and prepared for tonight's Tower of Trials. All the way until 9:35 p.m., Luo Feng arrived at the 9th floor of the 9 grand floors. Luo Feng, hello Luo. Quite a few black, white, and yellow people smiled as they greeted Luo Feng. Luo Feng was in a good mood, so he also smiled as he responded. After that, he entered the training room. He laid on the sofa and held the dark blue helmet. I'll try to succeed in one go. With dragon blood, I can become an advanced level war god level spirit reader in 1 or 2 months. An invincible existence amongst war gods. Luo Feng encouraged himself and then put on the helmet. In the virtual space, in the boundless silver alloyed land, there was only one gigantic 7-story tower in the distance, the Tower of Trials. Whoosh! Luo Feng appeared on the ground. I want to take the fist strength rating test, yelled Luo Feng. The fist strength rating test takes place in the virtual space. Whether it's the challenge room's virtual space or the training room's virtual space, as long as you yell this to the virtual space's AI, you can take the fist strength rating test. Because this test is really simple. Whoosh! A fist strength rating test machine appeared beside Luo Feng. Student Luo Feng, please quickly take the fist strength rating test. An electronic voice echoed in the air above the silver alloyed land. Luo Feng stood in front of the fist strength rating test machine. In the virtual space, his body's normal fist strength is the standard of 10,000 kilograms, with a difference of 10 kilograms. He took in a deep breath and squinted his eyes. Alone! Luo Feng's right fist instantly tore through the air. 4 waves of hidden energy swiftly flowed into his fist, causing Luo Feng's fist to speed up. With a horrifying whistling sound, it fiercely smashed onto the fist strength rating test machine. Ping! The fist strength rating test machine let out a muffled sound and fiercely shook. A number appeared on the display: 35,080 kg, fist strength rating level 3. 5. Congratulations, student Luo Feng, your battle ability amplifier is now 11. 9". The electronic voice didn't have any emotions. 11. 9, just a bit more and it'll be 12. Luo Feng directly walked towards the Tower of Trials in the distance, and the fist strength rating test machine directly disappeared. The 3rd floor of the Tower of Trials. It was a barren land. 3rd floor's B-grade trial. Student Luo Feng, your goal is to kill 190 low-level commander-level golden vultures and 10 middle-level commander-level golden vultures within 30 minutes. Good luck. Right after the electronic voice finished, a black mass of flying monsters appeared in the sky above the wilderness. Flying monsters, vulture-type monsters. The weakest golden vulture is a low-level commander-level golden vulture. Come! Who knows how many times Luo Feng has died to the golden vulture monster horde on this 3rd floor. A flying monster horde is much scarier than a walking monster horde. Because once you're grabbed by the sharp claws of a flying monster, they can directly hang you up. If you're in midair, you'll die for sure. So, you definitely can't get caught by the claws. An ear-piercing cry rang. The golden vultures swooped down from the sky. The densely packed flying monster horde was like a golden cloud that enveloped Luo Feng. No wonder so many war god teachers are stuck on the 3rd floor. And no matter what, Luo Feng has to kill at least half of the B-grade flying monster horde and reach a level of 3. 5. I have to succeed. Luo Feng held his ghost blade as his gaze was cold. Rumble, the flying monster horde instantly surrounded Luo Feng and the slaughter began. P.S. Chapter 2 has arrived. Tomato, continue writing the 3rd chapter. Everyone's monthly votes, let Tomato have more motivation. Chapter 133. Today is the 3rd chapter. Golden Vulture, a vulture-type bird. The feathers on its upper body and wings were black with a faint silver sheen. The fur on its lower body and the feathers below its wings were all golden. Its powerful claws and powerful wings posed a huge threat to Luo Feng, even if his speed increased by a huge amount. However, under the attack of the flying beast horde, those with poor technique can't increase their speed at all. Pu. Xiao. Within the flying beast horde, the snow-white blade flashed time and time again. Shrill cries resounded through the sky. Golden vultures fell down one after another, and the other golden vultures crazily attacked. In terms of speed, the golden vulture's flying speed far surpasses the speed of a walking beast of the same level. Flying beasts are faster than walking beasts. This is common knowledge. This made Luo Feng unable to escape from the flying beast horde. He could only fight for his life under the attack of the flying beasts. His blade was like lightning, and every blade killed. Not good. Luo Feng was lifted by the claws of a golden vulture. Once his feet left the ground, he couldn't use his technique. Luo Feng, who couldn't use his technique, was instantly torn into pieces by the golden vulture horde. Fresh blood flew everywhere. Luo Feng's corpse disappeared, and so did the golden vulture horde. That hurts. Luo Feng once again appeared in the wilderness. What's my Tower of Trials level now? Luo Feng raised his head and yelled. Under the state of slaughter, Luo Feng didn't dare to be distracted at all. Naturally, he didn't count how many golden vultures he killed. He just felt like he lasted longer than last time. But no matter what, he still didn't succeed. An electronic sound rang. Tower of Trials Level 3. 5. 3 5? Luo Feng let out a look of joy. 3 5 times 3. 5. His battle ability amplifier is 12. 25, which is over 12. Success. Haha, I actually succeeded. Ever since he came to the elite training camp, he didn't dare to relax for even a day. Because of his hard training in the first month, he was able to reach rank 68 and receive the contract from the Dojo of Limit. And after receiving the contract, he set a deadline of 3 months and set the highest standards for himself. He was constantly pondering about his martial art. When he showered, he was thinking about his blade technique. When he was chatting with his family or Su Xian, he was thinking about his blade technique. In the last month, he challenged the trainees in the training camp like a madman, engaging in life-and-death battles time and time again. The last time, it was a wager of 10 billion. Finally, on the night of the 30th of July, his battle ability amplifier had finally reached 12. Haha, come, the third level's B grade, continue. Luo Feng laughed loudly. Another flock of golden vultures appeared in the sky. Luo Feng no longer had any mental pressure. He could only focus on training. The 1-hour trial was over. Luo Feng's final tower of trials level was 3. 6. He finally completed the B stage. However, in the C stage, Luo Feng was quickly killed. Yes, compared to my body's force exertion reaching 3. 5 times and my body movement technique reaching perfect level, my weakness is my saber technique. My saber technique is only at the 2nd level of mastery. Luo Feng understood that the higher the level of the Tower of Trials, the higher the requirements are. If your blade technique is weak, then you won't be able to instantly kill a dozen monsters. Trial Tower Level 3. 6. This result, in the Battle God Circle, was considered a relatively good result. My battle ability amplifier is 12. 6. Luo Feng revealed a smile. Jiangnan Pagoda, Luo Feng's study room. When Luo Feng came back and turned on his laptop, it was already 10:50 p.m. Without caring too much, Luo Feng swiftly pulled out the contract he signed with the Dojo of Limits from his laptop. This was a document that was scanned from the contract he signed. There was a clear phone number in the contract. Once Luo Feng's battle ability amplifier reaches the required level, he can call this number and ask for the reward. A huge reward. Luo Feng took in a deep breath. One portion of dragon blood costs 160 billion, and half price is 80 billion. The 9-stage Thunder Blade instruction manual costs 50 billion. The cheapest battle uniform and weapon set costs around 10 billion, and the half price is close to 10 billion. Even if it's all half price, it's still a shocking number. Of course, the Dojo of Limits cost is very low. The 9-stage Thunderblade is actually selling the copyright, so the cost is almost zero. In the entire world, probably only the head, Hong, knows the cost of dragon blood, because he's the only one who can provide dragon blood. The battle uniform and weapon set costs only a few billion. All added together, the cost is at most a few dozen billion. However, that's the cost. Who would sell something to you at the cost price? Even if the governments of the various countries buy dragon blood, they'll buy it at the price of 80 billion. Beep beep, Luo Feng dialed the number. Hello. A deep voice rang out. Hello, I'm Luo Feng from the elite training camp. Luo Feng calmed down. I signed a contract with the dojo before. There are 5 reward conditions on the contract. As long as I reach one of the conditions, I can call this number and receive the reward, right? Yes, said the low voice. My battle ability amplifier has already exceeded 12, so I've fulfilled the first condition, said Luo Feng. Wait a moment, let me check. In just a moment, the voice's pitch slightly rose. Ah, congratulations, student Luofeng. Your battle ability amplifier is currently 12.6 and right now it's July 30th, 22.56, which is before August 1st, so you've fulfilled the conditions. Your reward is a 9th Series battle uniform, weapon set, any instruction manual, and a portion of dragon blood worth 80 billion. When Luofeng heard this, he couldn't help but to excitedly clench his left fist. Success! Student Luofeng, please tell me all the detailed information about the battle uniform and weapons you need. Also, tell me the name of the instruction manual you need, continued the low voice. I need a set of 9th Series battle uniform, according to... Luofeng swiftly reported the sizes of his battle uniform, ghost blade, hexagonal shield, and other information. He also said his tactical communications watch, binoculars, backpack, and other supporting tools. Of course, he also mentioned the throwing knives he needed. I also need the complete 9-fold Thunderblade manual. Finally, it's that portion of dragon blood, replied Luofeng. Oh yeah, of the 10 9th Series throwing knives I need, I hope that 2 of them can be SS-grade throwing knives. I can remit the money to buy these 2 SS-class flying knives. The flying dagger was small in size and used less materials. Even if it was SS rank, its price was much lower than a blood shadow blade of the same rank. These 2 SS-class flying knives will be added to that combat uniform. The deep voice clearly did not care about the 2 SS-grade flying knives. After all, the full price of an SS-grade flying knife was only 400 million, and the half price was only 200 million. The cost was even lower. For the Dojo of Limits, after giving out such a huge reward, why would they care about money? The elite training camp is in the headquarter city. The reward will probably be delivered to the main entrance of the training camp within an hour. You can go there to receive your reward, said the deep voice. Within an hour? Luofeng let out a face of surprise. He didn't think that he would receive it this quickly. Finally, congratulations to student Luofeng for receiving this reward. At the same time, student Luofeng, work hard and try to increase your battle ability amplifier to 16 so that you can receive another reward. After saying that, the deep voice hung up. After ending the call, the study room was silent. Luofeng's heart was racing. Dragon blood, the dragon blood will be here soon. My strength can instantly change drastically. Luofeng still felt like he was dreaming. Even now, Luofeng still felt like he was dreaming. Just like that, the 9-fold Thunderblade instruction manual and a portion of dragon blood were about to be in his hands. Just look at the commotion caused by the astronomical bounty of 100 billion. You can see how much wealth 100 billion is. And an instruction manual and a portion of dragon blood, even at half price, still far exceed 100 billion. Excited, Luofeng was indeed too excited. After staying in the study room for 20 minutes, he couldn't help but to rush to the main entrance of the training camp. The main entrance. It was already 11 p.m., so it was a bit cool. Since it was the 30th, there weren't any students at the entrance. Student Luofeng, why are you here so late at night? The person in charge of the guards at the entrance, a middle-aged man, laughed as he yelled. Of course, he recognized this famous person of the training camp. I have something to do, smiled Luofeng as he replied. The guard knew the rules, so he didn't ask. And Luofeng, under the night wind, wandered around the entrance by himself. As he waited, Luofeng felt like every second and minute was passing slowly. Occasionally, a car would pass by the entrance of the training camp, and Luofeng couldn't help but to raise his head to look. Sadly, none of them were. Beep! A horn rang, and a large truck drove towards the entrance of the training camp. Beep! Let in! An electronic sound carried from the guard room at the entrance, shocking the patrolling soldiers and other personnel. Many of the systems in the elite training camp are controlled by AI systems and not by humans. Even the special cars of the dojo don't have the right to enter. The entrance opened automatically. The large truck drove in. This should be it. Luo Feng walked to the side. Luo Feng walked to the side. The large truck seemed to have discovered Luo Feng, as it directly drove to the side and stopped. Voila! The back door of the truck opened, and a voice rang. Student Luo Feng, please get in. Luo Feng ran to the back door of the truck. Before he even got in, a blue light shone on Luo Feng's body. At the same time, an electronic voice rang. Student Luo Feng, identity confirmed, please get in. The interior of the truck was very luxurious. There were a total of 3 people inside, and they all looked at Luo Feng with shock. This is Luo Feng? I wonder what HQ wants us to escort this time. For all 3 of us to come out of the 3 people in the truck, 1 was yellow, and the other 2 were white. They spoke Chinese. The common language in Hong Ning headquarter city is Chinese, so most of the people in HQ know Chinese. Luo Feng jumped into the truck and looked towards the back of the truck. With a glance, he saw a large locked box. Looking at the size of the box, things like shields and ghost blades could indeed be stored. At this time, the same blue light from before shone on the locked box. Reward item, confirmed, correct. The electronic sound rang. Student Luo Feng, please receive the reward item. Luo Feng took a step forward. One of the tall white men carried the locked box and brought it in front of Luo Feng. Student Luo Feng, what's inside? The white man smiled as he asked. It's a secret. Luo Feng smiled as he received the locked box. Finally, the huge reward is in his hands. The dragon blood is in his hands. P.S. Chapter 3 has arrived. Today, there's still Chapter 4. Chapter 134. Today, Chapter 4. Luo Feng swiftly returned to his living quarters while carrying the briefcase. Jiangnan Pavilion, in a secret underground chamber. Ka. Luo Feng twisted the lock on the underground room's alloy door. Since he obtained the dragon blood, the first thing he did was use it. If he didn't use it and some student found out that he had dragon blood, they might steal it. At that time, he wouldn't even have a place to cry. Using dragon blood was also a very important matter. In order to prevent others from disturbing him, it was best to use dragon blood in the underground secret room. The light illuminated the entire secret chamber. Luo Feng placed the locked box in the corner. This was a fingerprint locked box. Luo Feng swiped his finger across and with a ka sound, the locked box opened. The lockbox was huge. It was split into 2 layers. The upper layer was a neatly stacked battle uniform, ghost blade, shield, throwing knives, etc. Luo Feng took all of these out and placed them to the side before looking at the lower layer. On the lower level, there were only 2 wooden boxes. Of these 2 wooden boxes, one contains the 9-stage Thunderblade secret manual, and the other contains the dragon blood. Luo Feng carefully opened the first wooden box. In the wooden box was a thick instruction manual and a stack of discs. On the cover of the instruction manual were the words, 9-stage Thunderblade. He had obtained the secret manual. I don't need to spend money on this instruction manual anymore. Luo Feng closed it again and opened another wooden box. When the wooden box was opened, there was a test tube fixed with foam. The test tube was plugged with a stopper. The test tube was filled with golden blood, which took up about 1/3 of the test tube's volume. This is dragon blood worth 80 billion? Luo Feng carefully took out the foam and then carefully picked up the test tube, afraid that it would break. However, logically speaking, a test tube filled with dragon blood should be very sturdy. However, Luo Feng didn't dare to randomly test it, so he raised the test tube high up towards the fluorescent light. Under the illumination of the light, the golden blood made one's heart tremble. If one did not know its value, it would be impossible to believe that this thing was worth 80 billion. Luo Feng lowered his head to look. Under the wooden box that originally stored the dragon blood, there was an instruction manual. After Luo Feng picked it up and looked carefully, he couldn't help but to let out a smile. So this dragon blood is so easy to use. According to the instructions, he only needed to smear the dragon blood on his body, and there was no need to smear it all over his body, just a certain spot. The dragon blood would naturally permeate the entire body. The only taboo was not to drink it. I was at the 9-story building on the night of the 28th. My punching strength was 25,100 kilograms. I wonder how high it will be after using this dragon blood. Actually, at the end of June, Luo Feng's fist strength was only 19,600 kilograms. However, in July, Luo Feng's fist strength increased by over 5,000 kilograms. This was a shocking scale. Actually, it wasn't weird. In July, Luo Feng used the archaeological gravity room for 4 hours, which was split into 12 times of 20 minutes. Every day, he stayed in the archaeological gravity room for 20 minutes for a total of 12 days. Every 3 days was equivalent to 15 days of normal training. Just these 12 days were equivalent to 2 months of normal training. That was why the effects in July were so shocking. Actually, Luo Feng wasn't exaggerating. If someone stayed in the archaeological gravity room for 2 hours every day for a month, they would have the same effect as 10 months. My fist strength is 25,100 kilograms. If I use dragon blood, it'll double and reach 50,000 kilograms, thought Luo Feng to himself. The higher one's strength, the weaker the effect of the dragon blood. The lower one's strength, the more obvious the effect of the dragon blood. A warrior-level fighter, because they're too weak, can become 4 times stronger after using dragon blood. Legend has it that dragon blood can double a person's strength, but that's just a rough number. My current fitness level is only that of an intermediate-level warlord. If I use dragon blood, it might not just double, it might even triple. Luo Feng was looking forward to it. He hasn't used dragon blood before. Maybe there are other people in the world who have used dragon blood, but their experiences haven't been publicized, so nobody knows the rough numbers. He can only experience it himself. In the underground room, Luo Feng laid flat on the ground. He held the test tube with dragon blood in his left hand and lightly pulled out the stopper. Suddenly, a special smell filled the underground room. Just by smelling this smell and breathing it into his body, Luo Feng felt every part of his body go numb. It felt like he was training his genetic energy. Dragon blood. Luo Feng slightly tilted the test tube and poured the dragon blood towards his chest. The dragon blood was quite viscous, like mercury. It slowly flowed. The entire test tube was only that big, and with only a third of the test tube's capacity, one portion of dragon blood was indeed very small. It didn't take up much space even when it flowed on his chest. Soon, all the dragon blood in the test tube flowed out, and Luo Feng directly put the test tube to the side. The space is too small. Luo Feng immediately used his left and right hands to wipe the dragon blood on his naked upper body. He also wiped it on his arms. With this wipe, Luo Feng instantly felt his upper body and arms start to heat up. It's working. Luo Feng was full of anticipation. He could only feel waves of heat flowing along the dragon blood on his skin and quickly entering his body. It flowed towards every part of his body, including his legs, hands, back, chest, head, and so on. And this heat continued to increase. With the naked eye, he could see the amount of dragon blood on the surface of his skin rapidly decrease, as if it was seeping into his skin. The heat continued to increase. The temperature continued to increase. The manual said that the process would be very painful, to the point of causing people to faint. But I didn't think it would be this painful. I've been affected by headaches since I was young, so my endurance is quite high. I didn't think. Luo Feng's fists were tightly clenched and his entire body was trembling. At this moment, it was as if millions of ants were biting every part of his body. This pain made Luo Feng's face go pale, and the pain continued to increase. Numbness and even pain. Every part of his body, even his head, hot. It made people feel as if they were being burned to death by fire. Numbness, making people scratch themselves to death. Pain. Pain that went deep into his bones, making him twitch. Sweat dripped down Luo Feng's forehead. His entire body was struggling, his muscles twitched, his heart rate increased, and the blood flow in his body continued to increase. The sound of his heartbeat, ba-dump, ba-dump, ba-dump. Every heartbeat was like a drum ringing in his ears. The sound became louder and louder until he lost consciousness, fainting. The amount of dragon blood on the surface of Luo Feng's body continued to decrease as it seeped into his body. And along with this seeping, Luo Feng's entire body started to twitch. Not only his entire body twitched, but even every single muscle on his body was twitching. The muscles on Luo Feng's bare upper body were twitching like earthworms. His skin seemed to be burning red, and the veins on his entire body were bulging and twisting. It was very scary. Shishi, along with this horrifying process, every single cell in Luo Feng's body was crazily swallowing this mysterious energy and began to transform. Ever since he was young, after all these years, even when Luo Feng first awakened as a spirit reader, his body's transformation wasn't as exaggerated as this. The genetic material in his cells, under the dragon blood's energy, rapidly transformed, leaving behind useless genes and improving them. Some of the wasted cells and impurities were directly expelled, leaving behind dirt on the surface of Luo Feng's body. Under this transformation that went deep into his cells, Luo Feng's tendons, bones, membranes, muscles, skin, organs, etc. all underwent shocking changes. The hardness of his bones continuously increased, and the toughness of his periosteum and tendons also underwent leaps and bounds of transformation. The dragon blood's energy was enough to provide for this transformation. Everything was happening rapidly. His training speed was thousands, tens of thousands of times faster than normal. And at the same time, within Luo Feng's consciousness, within that vast consciousness, in the middle of the endless mist that covered his realm of consciousness, the gigantic dark golden ball no longer slowly spun like before and slowly released its spiritual force. At this moment, the dark golden ball was like a dam that broke. Large amounts of liquid flowed out and instantly turned into mist. Large amounts of mist crazily spread and filled his entire realm of consciousness. The mist in his realm of consciousness continuously increased, and the rate of increase was extremely shocking. The dark golden ball crazily released large amounts of mist, which was thousands of times faster than normal, or even faster. His body fitness level was increasing at a shocking rate. Naturally, the dark golden ball, which was always limited by his body fitness level and couldn't release its spiritual force, was also being released in his realm of consciousness. The strength of Luo Feng's spiritual force continued to increase. From the beginner war god level spiritual force before, it started to increase at a shocking rate. Slowly, the mist seemed to have reached a limit, and it actually condensed into droplets. 1 droplet, 2 droplets. Slowly, Luo Feng's body calmed down, and the dark golden ball in his realm of consciousness finally stopped releasing its spiritual force crazily. Instead, it slowly released it like before. Many droplets floated in his realm of consciousness that was covered in mist. Sometimes the mist would enter the droplets, and sometimes it would be released. Luo Feng's realm of consciousness was already in a state where both mist and liquid coexisted. I fainted? Luo Feng's body slightly trembled, and he finally regained consciousness. His eyelids slightly moved, and his eyes slowly opened. Right now, Luo Feng's entire body was covered in a layer of dirt. His entire body was black, and even his face was black. After Luo Feng opened his eyes, he casually got up, slightly moved his arms, and fiercely rubbed his body with his left hand. In an instant, the black dirt was rubbed away, revealing his bronze skin. Luo Feng's skin color completely changed. From his normal yellow skin, it turned into a bronze color that seemed like it was cast from steel. This was clearly the result of the dragon blood seeping into his skin. What a powerful force! Luo Feng felt the shocking power in his body. It's much more powerful than before. 3. 5x explode. Luo Feng ferociously punched the alloy wall beside him. With a rumble, half of Luo Feng's fist caved in. After that, his left fist punched again. Every punch caused the entire underground room to shake, and every punch left a shocking hole in the alloy wall. Dong, 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 dong. Low sounds that seemed to be smashing into a person's heart rang out one after another. After suddenly obtaining such a powerful force, Luo Feng used the most barbaric method to vent the joy in his heart. Great, Luo Feng couldn't help but to yell. Luo Feng turned his head towards the battle uniform. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 10 throwing knives swiftly pierced through the air. In this 5-meter long, 5-meter wide, and 2.5-meter tall alloy room, they actually began to revolve around Luo Feng at an astonishing speed. In an instant, they reached 10 times the speed of sound and continued to increase. With such a terrifying speed, the throwing knives even flashed past the alloy wall beside them and cut a ravine. Luo Feng tightly clenched his fists. He even had a feeling, even if he faced that high-level Horde leader steel-armored dragon from back then, he would still dare to fight it and even kill it. P.S. Luo Feng is finally truly valiant, hee. 4 chapters completed. Monthly votes. Chapter 135. Jiangnan Pagoda, Luo Feng's bathroom. Hua. The hot water splashed onto Luo Feng's strong body and washed away all the dirt. Goo, all the dirty water in the bathtub flowed out. After that, Luo Feng plugged the plug and laid in the bathtub as the hot water splashed onto his body. Even though he was lying there, Luo Feng's mood was unprecedentedly happy. After a while, Luo Feng climbed out of the bathtub, wiped his body with a towel, and then walked into his room naked. He put on his battle boots and long pants, but only wore a casual shirt on his upper body. In the pockets of his long pants there were 10 throwing knives. I'll go to the 9 grand floors and test my current strength. Luo Feng swiftly went downstairs and headed towards the 9 grand floors in the dark. At this time, it was already around 2 p.m. Around 2 p.m. Only the 9th floor of the 9 grand floors still had some students. Because the elite training camp's archaeological gravity room and training room are open 24 hours a day, there's only 1 hour in the afternoon when they're not used. The rest of the time is used by students, even if it's late at night. However, the other training halls were completely empty. 9 grand floors, 5th floor, one of the small training halls. Pa! The light was turned on. A yellow-skinned youth appeared in this training hall. The door was already closed from the inside. As for the windows, when the windows of the 9 grand floors were designed, people from the outside couldn't see inside, while people from the inside could easily see outside. Luo Feng was very satisfied with all of this. For now, he doesn't want people to know that he's a spirit reader. Spiritual force, 2 levels higher than my body fitness level. Let's see just what level my body fitness level has reached. Luo Feng walked towards a large fist strength tester in the corner of the training hall. The fist strength tester in the 9 grand floors is the best of the best. It can easily test the strength of advanced level war god. To be able to withstand the heavy punches of advanced level war gods, one can only imagine the cost of this fist strength tester. After turning on the switch, the display of the fist strength tester lit up. 2 days ago, my fist strength was 25,100 kilograms. Let's see how much it's at now. Luo Feng stood in front of the fist strength tester. Advanced level war gods weigh hundreds of thousands of kg. Even an explosive punch of close to 1,000,000 kg can't break it. The material used for this fist strength tester isn't much weaker than the scales of a high-level horde leader monster. Luo Feng moved. Luo Feng's right fist was like a cannonball, bringing with it a sonic boom as it directly smashed onto the target without any special method of using his strength, only to see Luo Feng's right fist explode. Pung! The target shook violently, and the sound was deep and muffled. Luo Feng immediately looked at the display. A number appeared on the display: 63,602 kilograms. So many! How can it be so high? Luo Feng's eyes widened. He felt as if he was hit by a huge pie. Originally, Luo Feng estimated that his fist strength could reach at least 50,000 kilograms. If his luck was good, he might be able to earn more than 50,000. If he was extremely lucky, he might earn as much as 60,000. But 63,600? That was almost 64,000 yuan. That's the lowest limit for beginner-level war gods. My fitness level can barely be considered a beginner-level war god. Doesn't that mean my spirit force can barely be considered an advanced-level war god-level spirit reader? Luo Feng's heart was filled with joy. He was clear that the limit for beginner-level war gods was 64,000 kilograms to 128,000 kilograms. His advanced-level war god-level spirit reader can only be considered a beginner-level war god-level spirit reader, not the peak of the advanced-level war god level. When his strength reaches 128,000 kilograms, he'll probably be a spirit reader at the peak of the advanced-level war god level. However, it's a spirit reader. Even if he just stepped into the advanced-level war god level, killing a normal fighter, even a fighter at the peak of the advanced-level war god level, won't be a problem. He can absolutely sweep through normal advanced-level war gods. In the entire world, other than the existences surpassing the war god level, most of the war gods, even the extremely powerful advanced-level war gods, can be swept by me. Only a few can match me. Luo Feng's eyes were like lightning. His powerful strength gave him absolute confidence. Strength brings confidence, and among the war gods, only spirit readers at the peak of the advanced-level war god level can make Luo Feng lower his head. Powerful. This is true strength. Luo Feng's excitement surged like a tidal wave. Compared to his spiritual force, his close combat skills are way too weak. His body fitness level barely qualifies as a beginner-level war god. Even with a battle ability amplifier of over 12, he can still obtain the title of an intermediate-level war god. But compared to his spiritual force, it's nothing. Around 25,100 kilograms to around 63,600 kg, my body fitness level didn't just double, it increased by around 2.5 times. Luo Feng calculated in his mind. The effects of this dragon blood are indeed shocking. Luo Feng guessed wrong this time. Just one portion of dragon blood probably only had an effect of 2 times, just barely enough. Other than the dragon blood, the transformation this time was also due to the strengthening of his body with his spiritual force. When Luo Feng first awakened, his body fitness level increased by a huge amount, but his spiritual force only increased to the beginner-level war god level. And this time, Luo Feng's spiritual force directly jumped from the beginner-level war god level to the advanced-level war god level. In terms of quantity, the increase in his spiritual force was 10 times that of his first awakening. With such an increase in spiritual force, naturally, Luo Feng's body also strengthened. However, since it was strengthened at the same time as the dragon blood, the increase wasn't as exaggerated. However, it still increased Luo Feng's fist strength by around 10,000 kilograms. From around 50,000 kilograms, it directly increased to 64,000 kilograms. Deep into the night, in the spacious training hall, Luo Feng retreated step by step until he was 20 meters away from the fist strength tester machine. Let me see just how strong my spiritual force is. Luo Feng's eyes flashed. Luo Feng's eyes flashed, and immediately, 2 black throwing knives with a faint silver glow floated in front of him. These 2 throwing knives were the SS-grade throwing knives he obtained this time. With a thought from Luo Feng, the 2 throwing knives immediately turned 180 degrees. The handles of the throwing knives faced the fist strength tester machine, while the tips of the throwing knives faced Luo Feng himself. Go! Under Luo Feng's powerful spiritual force. Whoosh! One of the SS-grade throwing knives instantly turned into a black light. The handle of the knife pointed forward and the tip pointed back. Just like that, the black light shot towards the fist strength tester machine's fist strength tester machine. Pung! The fist strength tester ferociously shook and let out a low sound that could make one's heart stop. A number immediately appeared on the display: 218,606 kilograms. After seeing this number, Luo Feng couldn't help but to shake his head and sigh. Sick. No wonder spirit readers are invincible. Luo Feng was shocked. According to the fitness level, 128,000 kilograms. 256,000 kilograms is the fitness level of an intermediate level war god. However, this throwing knife attack doesn't rely on strength, but on speed. Throwing knives that rely on speed can all contain the strength of an advanced level war god. How could it be strange for these throwing knives to kill an advanced level war god? I can simultaneously control 10 throwing knives and attack from all directions. Their speed surpasses 10 times the speed of sound, and they can instantly change directions. No matter how strong your advanced level wargod's body is, no matter how powerful your blade technique is, no matter how nimble your technique is, you'll still die. Luo Feng couldn't help but to sigh as he saw this number. They're on completely different levels. Advanced level war gods have a hard time defending against attacks that surpass 10 times the speed of sound. Also, spiritual force can control a few throwing knives to surround and attack, which is much scarier than the monsters in the Tower of Trials. Which monster can reach 10 times the speed of sound? This is the terror of a spirit reader. In terms of spiritual force, it barely reaches the lowest level of an advanced level war god. However, in terms of flexibility and strangeness, Luo Feng can easily defeat most advanced level war gods. Except for a few crazy people or other advanced level war god level spirit readers. Even though Luo Feng's current strength is already the number one in the elite training camp, Luo Feng was clear that there are still people stronger than him in this world, not mentioning existences surpassing the war god level. Amongst war gods, he's not invincible yet. He's only close to invincible. August 1st morning. 193 students gathered on the grass field in front of the 9 grand floors. They were all chatting in groups of 3 to 5. All of the students were fully equipped with their bags and weapons because today is the day of the life and death adventure. However, before they leave, everyone was waiting for one person, the world's strongest fighter, Hong. Why isn't Hong here yet? Zhao Ruo, Luo Feng, and Shi Jiang were all sitting on the grass field chatting. Zhao Ruo's face was completely red. I dreamt of Hong last night. Stop being so love-struck, joked Luo Feng. What did you say? Zhao Ruo glared. Luo Feng was shocked. He looked toward Shi Jiang and changed the topic. Senior Shi Jiang, you've met the head before. What does he look like? After hearing this, Zhao Ruo also looked towards Shi Jiang. After all, only Shi Jiang, an old student, has seen Hong before. Head Hong. How should I put it? Shi Jiang's eyes had a bit of respect and a strange color. Divinity. Divinity? Luo Feng froze. Yeah, the legendary divinity. I can't think of any other words to describe him, sighed Shi Jiang. I've seen other investigators, existences surpassing the war god level. However, those existences surpassing the war god level, compared to the head Hong, are like stars compared to the sun. Luo Feng nodded to himself. Shi Jiang smiled as he looked at Luo Feng and Zhao Ruo. Brothers, sisters, you guys should put more effort into the upcoming life and death adventure. This time, we're going to the continent of Australia. After the Grand Nirvana, the entire continent of Australia will be the world of monsters. It's one of the 3 most dangerous places in the world along with Africa's Sahara and South America's Amazon. Before the Grand Nirvana, there were many animals in the continent of Australia. There were only around 10 million people on the continent. After the Grand Nirvana period came, the mutated monsters in the continent of Australia became the most numerous in the world. There were no humans on the continent. The entire continent was the nest of the monsters. Along with Africa's Sahara and South America's Amazon, they were one of the 3 most dangerous places. Occasionally, some super organizations would send a special team to this continent to train. And this time, Luo Feng and the others were heading towards the continent of Australia. Chem? Luo Feng couldn't help but to raise his head and look towards the sky. Quite a few other students also looked towards the sky, because a sonic boom rang in the sky. A blurry shadow appeared in the sky above the elite training camp. After it condensed, it was a blood-red triangular fighter jet. The head is here. Hurry, everyone get up, all of the war god, teachers, as well as the students sitting on the grass, all stood up straight. Everyone knew that. The strongest fighter in the world. The richest person in the world. The most powerful existence in the world is about to appear. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. Chapter 136. This blood-red triangular fighter jet had smooth lines and gave people the feeling that it was a ferocious flying monster that was about to attack. At this time, this blood-red triangular fighter jet was slowly descending from the sky. All of the students and war god teachers in the elite training camp remained silent. No one dared to make a sound. The fighter jet landed. HUA. The hatch opened. An Asian and a Caucasian simultaneously stepped out of the hatch. Just like that, as if there was a staircase in the air that normal people couldn't see, they directly walked onto the grass. This scene caused all of the students to widen their eyes. Existences surpassing the war god level, and 2 of them. Luo Feng was also shocked. Looks like these 2 people are the 2 main investigators of the Dojo of Limit's headquarters. The 2 investigators stood on the grass on both sides as they silently waited for the head of the dojo. Over 200 pairs of eyes in the elite training camp stared at the hatch. Everyone was waiting for the legendary strongest fighter in the world, and the undisputed strongest fighter in the world. Finally, a shadow walked out of the hatch. Luo Feng didn't even dare to blink, afraid of wasting time. He carefully looked at the man that walked out of the hatch. He was around 1.9 meters tall, wearing black pants, a black jacket, and had short hair. With just a glance, he gave off the feeling that he was a spear that was about to pierce through the sky. As for his age, not a single wrinkle could be seen on his face. He looked like he was in his 20s. However, that aura wasn't something a regular youth could have. He stepped out of the hatch and scanned across everyone in the elite training camp. Rumble, Luo Feng only felt an explosion in his head. The sky and earth around him were completely distorted, and the morning sun disappeared from his field of vision. All of the students in the elite training camp were horrified to find that the entire sky seemed to have turned from morning to night. There was no light at all, only darkness. The sky and earth were black, and the most eye-catching thing in this black sky was the black-haired man. He is a deity. An omnipotent deity. Even the war god teachers didn't have the heart to resist. They couldn't even think of resisting. Facing the gaze of this black-haired man, even Luo Feng, who was much more powerful, felt that this powerful black-haired man could kill him with just one gaze. He is Hong, the strongest man in the world. Beside Hong, the 2 investigators were completely overshadowed. Investigators are existences surpassing the war god level. However, in front of Hong, the gap between them was too great. Elite training camp. This batch of students is not bad. A cold voice rang out. As soon as he finished speaking, all the trainees and teachers in the elite training camp, who had been plunged into darkness, discovered that the endless darkness around them had disappeared. The morning sun had once again appeared. But even so, everyone felt a kind of mental pressure, as if they were ants facing an elephant. In front of Hong, everyone felt insignificant. Dojo Master, there are quite a few good seedlings in this batch of students. The leader of the elite training camp, Patrol Wang, said. Almost all the students looked at Hong as if he was their idol, the spiritual leader of martial artists. Hong took a step forward and appeared beside a student as if he had teleported. All the students, teachers, and even the investigator all turned to look. The black-haired Hong was staring at a young student. Luo Feng. Luo Feng stared at the black-haired man before him. This world's strongest warrior was actually staring at him? Why is he staring at me? Hong is looking at Luo Feng. Head Hong, why is he looking at Luo Feng? Among the students, Candace was worried and dissatisfied. The three investigators weren't surprised, since Luo Feng's contract was personally written by the head. You're Luo Feng? Even though his voice was gentle, it was still powerful. The black-haired man lowered his head and examined the young youth in front of him. Yes, head, Luo Feng replied respectfully. The black-haired man grinned, and the corner of his mouth seemed to be slightly curving. The head smiled. The head smiled? The three investigators were shocked. They knew very well the temper of the strongest fighter in the world. Normally, even towards existences surpassing the war god level, it's hard for him to smile. The black-haired man examined Luo Feng and couldn't help but to exclaim, "Such powerful spiritual force!" Luo Feng froze. The three investigators froze. All the students in the training camp were also stunned. Such powerful spiritual force? Is he talking about Luo Feng? Luo Feng is a spirit reader? I. Luo Feng was completely stunned. His secret as a spirit reader was revealed by the world's strongest fighter, Hong, in front of the three investigators, all the students and all the war god teachers. His spiritual force wasn't released at all in his realm of consciousness, so the other investigators didn't notice. Who would have thought that the head would notice and even say it out loud? I didn't think that you would have such powerful spiritual force, no wonder. The black-haired man, Hong, slightly nodded, as if he was very satisfied with Luo Feng. After that, the black-haired man, Hong, glanced at the other students and said coldly, "You are the most elite geniuses among the youths of the world. Your goal isn't to become war gods, but to become existences surpassing the war god level. I hope that one of you can reach this step." The head's words seemed to have an infinite amount of power that directly permeated into everyone's souls. All the students felt their blood boil under this formless guidance. After that, the black-haired man, Hong, turned around and left. When Hong disappeared from their line of sight, all the students and the god of war teachers were in an uproar. The head Hong is too powerful, he's like a god. I felt like the head just now was the ruler of the entire world. Yeah, all the students used their own languages to excitedly chat with their fellow countrymen. Luo Feng, you're a spirit reader? You actually still have this hidden card, spirit reader. Quite a few students from China were shocked towards Luo Feng. However, everyone is from the elite training camp. The elite training camp has always been collecting geniuses from all over the world. There are quite a few spirit readers here, so even though everyone was shocked, they weren't too jealous. Of course, if they knew that Luo Feng's spiritual force could defeat most advanced level war gods, they would probably be dumbfounded. Luo Feng, a slightly hoarse voice rang. The surroundings were silent. Luo Feng turned his head and saw that the person walking over was indeed Investigator Wang. Investigator Wang looked at Luo Feng. "Let's go, follow me to see the head." Yes, even though Luo Feng was confused, he still followed Investigator Wang to see the head. And now, in the crowd of students, the tall, skinny, blonde youth, Candace, stared at the departing Luo Feng. His gaze was cold as he clenched his teeth. "Spirit reader? Who would have thought that you're actually a spirit reader? Looks like my aunt and the others were right." "Yup, I have to tell my aunt about this immediately." "William, I'm going back to my place for a bit," said Candace. "Okay, hurry up, we'll probably be leaving soon," nodded William. In a quiet tea room, the black-haired man, Hong, sat on a chair and held a teacup as he sighed. This Luo Feng has such astonishing spiritual force at such a young age. Looks like his natural spiritual force is extremely powerful. He's probably one of the top spirit readers I've ever seen. His brain expanse is definitely high, so no wonder his comprehension is so high. He was able to train his 9-stage Thunderblade to the 4th stage in such a short amount of time. However, if he has spiritual force, why has he been hiding it? The black-haired man, Hong thought, I'm afraid that he'll be very troubled if I reveal this indeed. Luo Feng was troubled. Under Investigator Wang's lead, Luo Feng's mind was filled with frustration as he walked. This head, Hong, suddenly revealed his secret, which caught him completely off guard. As of now, he's strong, but the vulture-scorpion couple isn't weak either. He originally planned to take things one step at a time. He's in the dark while the vulture-scorpion couple is in the light. Everything is in his favor. But now that he's suddenly revealed it, the vulture-scorpion couple aren't idiots. They probably guessed that I'm the culprit, sighed Luo Feng. The dojo master is inside. Let's go in, Inspector Wang said. Yes, Luo Feng walked into the quiet tea room. Sit, his voice was still a bit cold, but the black-haired man, Hong, looked at Luo Feng with interest. Luo Feng obediently sat down. Luo Feng, your spiritual force has probably reached the advanced level war god level. Among war gods, there aren't many that are stronger than you. Why are you still hiding your strength? Could it be that your enemy is an existence surpassing the war god level? The head Hong looked at Luo Feng. If I reveal this and cause you trouble, don't worry. If your enemy is an existence surpassing the war god level, I can guarantee that he won't touch a single hair on your body. Hong understood that one sentence of his could cause trouble, so he made a promise. To Hong. In the entire world, no one dares to go against his words. An existence surpassing the war god level? Luo Feng didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He's not strong enough to make enemies of that level. Head, I had a conflict with the vulture-scorpion couple's son in the wilderness of Jiangnan headquarter city, and killed him. The vulture-scorpion couple is offering a sky-high reward for the identity of the culprit, Luo Feng said honestly. I also obtained the dragon blood before and used it to increase my strength greatly. Luo Feng didn't have to lie in front of the head. What kind of status does the head have? To Hong, the conflict between Luo Feng and the vulture scorpion is like a fight between ants. Didn't you hear, Hong? Even an existence surpassing the war god level can be guaranteed to not touch a single hair on Luo Feng with just one sentence. How bold is that? Oh, I've heard of that 100 billion bounty, the head, Hong, slightly nodded. As long as you aren't an idiot, you can understand. If a powerless young fighter wasn't forced into a corner, how would he dare to kill the son of 2 advanced-level war gods? After I said those words, I believe that Vulture Li Yao will know about it soon. Vulture Li Yao will know about this. Chief Master Hong nodded slightly. Luo Feng felt helpless. Isn't that right? It's exactly because of one sentence from a great deity like you that I'm completely flustered. However, who dares to complain about Hong? If he directly confronts the vulture-scorpion couple, then so be it. He's not afraid of them right now, but his family. Head, Luo Feng said sincerely, I'm not afraid of the vulture-scorpion couple either, but my family. Don't worry, nothing will happen to your family, the head, Hong, spoke. After hearing this, Luo Feng felt a wave of relief. Is there anything more useful than the head, Hong, in this world? Those presidents and prime ministers might be forced to do something else tomorrow. However, Hong's words can be said to be the golden rule, that no one can challenge. I think that with Vulture Li Yao's personality, he'll definitely take this chance to attack you when you guys go on a life-and-death adventure in the continent of Australia, said the head. You and him are both fighters, so I won't interfere. Hong, who is above everyone else, has such a high status. Unless it's necessary, he really won't interfere with the matters of fighters. If Vulture Li Yao comes to the continent of Australia, it's hard to say who will die. Luo Feng's gaze was firm. The head, Hong, slightly nodded. Luo Feng, you're a member of the Dojo of Limits. Let me remind you, this vulture Li Yao successfully came out of the archaeological ruins and obtained a black god set. The most important thing about this black god set is that it can form a protective armor at will. It can even cover 100% of the user's entire body, including his nose and mouth. Luo Feng froze. Once it covers 100% of the body, your throwing knives won't be able to pierce through the black god set. The head, Hong, glanced at Luo Feng's pocket. Of course, no one will always cover their nose and mouth, especially their eyes. If they cover their eyes, won't they be unable to see? Luo Feng was shocked. The so-called black god set can actually form a protective armor at will. Unbelievable. So, you have a chance to kill him with a sneak attack. Overall, his defense is strong, while you're good at escaping. His attacks are strong, while your attacks are unpredictable. After coming out of the tea room, Luo Feng calmed down. If he didn't have the black god set, Luo Feng would be able to suppress Vulture Li Yao in a head-on battle. But now, with the black god set, Li Yao is practically invincible. He's not weaker than Luo Feng at all. Hong clearly doesn't want to interfere with this, right? The difference in strength between Vulture Li Yao and me isn't too big. I'm afraid Hong is treating this as a test for me, Luo Feng thought to himself. Indeed, to the head, Hong, Luo Feng is a piece of jade. However, a piece of jade needs to be polished before it can become a weapon. Otherwise, it's just a piece of jade. If even Vulture Li Yao needs the dojo's help, then Hong would be too disappointed. Li Yao, maybe you have more experience, or maybe you even brought quite a few people. However, I'll be waiting for you in the continent of Australia. Luo Feng immediately walked towards the training camp where the students gathered. In the faraway country of China, Jiangnan headquarter city. Main sectors: Jiangnan Mountain Water Sector, Hua Yao Peaks Villa. Li Yao and the blonde woman, Vanina, stared at Candace's image on the gigantic screen in front of them. That's it, Aunt, Uncle, I'm going to gather. We're about to leave for the continent of Australia. Candace's image disappeared in a flash. Li Yao and Vanina were both furious and in extreme pain. So it was him, so it was him. Li Yao said in a low voice, hiding his identity as a spirit reader all this time. If he didn't have a guilty conscience, why would he hide his identity? Elite training camp students? Even if you're the emperor, I, Li Yao, will tear you to pieces and make you regret ever being born. P.S. 2 chapters completed. Brothers, you're too strong. My monthly votes have increased by a lot. Tomato is grateful for your monthly vote. If I get a few more monthly votes, I'll surpass second place. Brothers, monthly votes, come on. Chapter 137. Li Yao's face was ferocious as he breathed heavily. His eyes flashed. Luo Feng, Luo Feng, Luo Feng. Kill. He must die. Vanina's Chinese wasn't perfect, but the killing intent in her voice was easy to hear. Vanina's eyes were like poisonous needles and her voice was sharp. Isn't he going to the continent of Australia for a life and death adventure? This is the perfect opportunity to kill him. Vulture Scorpion, one can tell from this couple's nicknames. Their nature is cruel and vicious. They usually bully others, but now they're the ones being bullied and killed their only son. How could Vulture Scorpion not go crazy? Kill, not only kill him, but also his entire family. Li Yao clenched his teeth. He killed my only son, so I'll kill his entire family. Then I'll turn that Luo Feng's bones to dust. Scorpion Vanina slightly nodded and then frowned as she looked at Li Yao. Yao, the dojo of limits forbids revenge on the families of their fighters. Once they find out, the consequences will be dire. Back then, Bloodblade was chased all over the world and had nowhere to hide. You think I'm an idiot like Bloodblade? Li Yao sneered. The best way to deal with normal people is through the power of the world. With the HR Alliance's gigantic network, connections, and power in the world, they can definitely wipe out Luo Feng's entire family without making any mistakes. Fighters are powerful. However, against normal people, the HR alliance is the best way to deal with them. If something really happens, then you'll have to deal with it, frowned Vanina. Behind her was the Paulinus family. As one of the 9 core families of the HR alliance, they definitely wouldn't go against the dojo of limit. Don't worry, nothing will happen. Even if something happens, they won't be able to find me. If they find me, I'll deal with it myself. Li Yao's expression was cold as he looked towards Vanina. Vanina, I'm preparing to personally go to the continent of Australia. I'm also preparing to bring some elite members with me. We'll directly take a plane from China and disembark in the continent of Australia. Can you arrange that? Vanina was the CEO of the China region of the HR Alliance. She had a lot of power. That's not a big problem. I can let you guys get off the plane halfway across the Australian continent as a training martial artist team. Vanina nodded. I'm planning to bring some special equipment with me, Li Yao said again. Instruments? You're thinking of? Vanina shook her head and said, Impossible. The military power of the Chinese government is too strong. At most, I can arrange for you to take a free flight. It's absolutely impossible for you to bring those special equipment. First of all, it's impossible for you to pass the security check. Li Yao slightly frowned. He also knew that it was very difficult. Yao, it's impossible to get it from Huaxia. Vanina said solemnly. The equipment you want to bring is absolutely forbidden. Our HR alliance only has some influence on normal people and the economy in China. How about this, Yao, you take a plane to Europe first? Vanina said. The European Union is the headquarters of our HR alliance. From there, I can arrange for a plane to send you and a few elite fighters to the continent of Australia. I can also let you bring special equipment. This is because over in the European Union, over 80% of the passenger planes, as well as the airport inspection system, are all handled by our HR alliance. Okay, that's the only way. Li Yao slightly nodded. China and the European Union were different. For example, the European Union and America were both capitalist countries. The ancient families and financial groups had a lot of influence there. Even the political parties were supported by these families. Even weapons, passenger planes, and many other aspects were all manufactured and operated by capital. China was different. Passenger planes, manufacturing weapons, and many other aspects were all owned by the country. Capital was prohibited. So, even with Vanina's status, it was impossible for her to sneak some special equipment through Huaxia and take a passenger plane. That's fine. Let's go to Europe. I can also find more people. Li Yao slightly nodded. Also Vanina, try and find some mercenaries for me. See if any of them are willing to help. My own people don't have any war god level experts. Let's see if we can find some war god level mercenaries. I'll try. Vanina nodded. In reality, there were quite a few mercenaries. The top mercenaries, even existences surpassing the war god level, were even invited to be stationed in some of the weaker headquarter cities. At this time, Li Yao and Vanina didn't know that the head of the Dojo of Limits, the world's #1 fighter, Hong, already promised Luo Feng. No one will harm a single hair on Luo Feng's family. Li Yao didn't know. So before heading to the European Union, he was thinking of ways to arrange some people. Hong Ning headquarter city, 183 students of the elite training camp and around 10 war god teachers sat on 6 buses as they left the training camp and headed towards the airport. 9 a.m. that day, around 200 people boarded the passenger plane. The passenger plane left Hong Ning headquarter city and directly headed towards the continent of Australia. The entire passenger plane was completely booked by the training camp. The upper, middle, and lower levels could accommodate 200 people, so there was plenty of space. Movies were playing in every level of the cabins, so that the students wouldn't be too bored on the journey. Luo Feng, Zhao Ruo, and Shi Jiang were in the middle cabin. Not playing a movie? Zhao Ruo looked at the screen in front of her with shock. In the center of the cabin, there were 3 large screens that were facing different directions, all playing the same video. Everyone's already finished lunch, so let's start preparing. A middle-aged Chinese man stood beside the screen and pointed at the video. This is the continent of Australia right now. It can be said to be the area with the highest density of monsters in the world right now. Because the continent of Australia is isolated from the other continents, the monsters here are a bit different from the monsters on other continents. For example, mouse-type monsters, badger-type monsters. And many of them are different from the ones in Asia and Europe. Before the Grand Nirvana period, the continent of Australia was famous for its large numbers of animals. So after the Grand Nirvana period, the number of monsters here also increased. Because of the hybridization, many horrifying monsters were born. I'm sure you guys have already read a lot of information before coming here. Having a large variety is just one aspect. Secondly, because of the large numbers, Emperor-level monsters were born. If you guys meet an Emperor-level monster, you'll die for sure. So remember, don't get too close to a place with a high density of monsters. Especially in this place, when there are large amounts of Horde leader-level monsters, you have to run far away. All the students listened carefully. Even though they're all geniuses, the death rate isn't high. But there will still be people who die. And this is under the condition that everyone is being careful. If anyone dares to be arrogant in one of the 3 danger zones of Australia, they'll definitely die. Of course, the Emperor-level monsters won't care about you unless you mess with them. So, the biggest threat to you is still the Horde of monsters and Horde leader-level monsters. Places like Asia and Europe have large populations. So the number of monsters is relatively low. And in the continent of Australia, there are too many monsters, so the Horde of monsters is huge. So you guys have to pay attention to the Horde of monsters and Horde leader-level monsters here. The middle-aged Chinese man pointed at the screen. These are the Horde of monsters commonly seen in the continent of Australia, Horde leader-level monsters. Look carefully. The video continued to play. Many students watched carefully. Senior Shijiang, Junior Luofeng, how about we go to the continent of Australia and form a team? Said Zhao Rua quietly. Shijiang slightly frowned. Shijiang's strength was much stronger than Zhao Rua's. For Shijiang, the number of monsters in the Australian continent was probably more than 10 times that of Asia. There were even more Lord-tier monsters. This was a chance for him to train himself. Bringing Zhao Rua along would obviously affect her to a certain extent. This time I'll be alone, said Luofeng. Boring. Zhao Rua rubbed her nose. Zhao Rua, when the time comes, there will definitely be people who want to form a team. Shijiang comforted her with a smile. Suddenly, the entire cabin shook violently, and the drinks that some students were drinking flew out. Some students who did not fasten their seatbelts were even thrown out of their seat. What's going on? Zhao Rua exclaimed. All the students in the cabin were shocked. Fellow students, a clear voice came from the broadcast. Our plane has already entered the Australian mainland, but we are still about 40 minutes away from our destination. The Australian continent is famous for its large number of monsters, and the number of flying monsters here is equally astonishing. Moreover, there are very few passenger planes that pass through here, so just now there was a group of flying monsters that attacked our passenger plane. Right now, the passenger plane has already left the group of flying monsters behind. Everyone, don't worry. The cabin immediately burst into an uproar. So, he was attacked by a group of flying monsters. The ones attacking the passenger planes are all flying monsters with low intelligence. Shijiang said to Luofeng and Zhao Rua on the side, if it's an extremely powerful monster, it wouldn't even dare to approach the passenger plane. Getting close is suicide. Luofeng laughed. Airliners were equipped with laser cannons. At close range, even a king-class monster wouldn't be able to dodge the laser cannon's terrifying speed and would be killed instantly. 40 minutes later, the plane landed and the cabin door opened. The students and teachers of the god of war in the upper, middle, and lower floors all quickly walked out of the plane. The moment he came out, Luo Feng felt his vision widen. This was a vast wasteland covered in green. A large amount of vegetation was very lush, and the shadows of some monsters could be seen in the distance. There are no city buildings. It's the entire wilderness. It's going to be troublesome to find a place to rest at night. Many students were discussing. A black war god teacher spoke clearly in Chinese. All students, please use your tactical communications watch to memorize the exact coordinates of your current location. Right now, it is August 1st, 2057, 3:15 p.m. Your mission is to live in the continent of Australia for 28 days. Our passenger plane will arrive at this location on the 29th at 12 p.m. to pick up all the students back to Hong Ning headquarters city. Now, your life and death adventure officially begins. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. Chapter 138. All of the war god teachers swiftly returned to the plane. After that, the plane slowly rose into the sky and turned into a blue light as it disappeared into the horizon. On the wasteland, there were only 183 students left. The students gathered in groups of 3 to 5 and pulled a few fighters that were strong enough to form a squad. This was especially true for the weaker students who had just joined the training camp. It was an impossible task for them to live alone in the Australian continent for 28 days. Luo Feng, a voice rang. Luo Feng turned his head and saw that it was Senior Shi Jiang. Shi Jiang sighed. This is the center of the continent of Australia. And before the Grand Nirvana period, the most populated areas were the east coast and southeast region of the continent of Australia. And in our region, it's hard to find a city. If we can find a small town, we'll be lucky. Luo Feng nodded. One of the uses of a ruined city for a fighter is to rest. In a large number of residential buildings, it's easy to find a hidden room to rest in. However, in the continent of Australia, this endless wasteland is a bit of a headache. If you're in the wilderness, it'll be troublesome for a person to rest. Once you fall asleep, you might get eaten by a monster in your sleep. Shi Jiang looked at Luo Feng. How about you and I form a squad? If we help each other, we'll have a better chance of surviving here. You and I? Luo Feng slightly frowned. If Vulture Li Yao's incident didn't happen, teaming up with Senior Shi Jiang wouldn't be too bad. However, this time, he didn't come here just to fight against monsters. The bigger danger comes from Vulture Li Yao. Senior, I have some complicated things to do in the continent of Australia, so I can only be by myself, said Luo Feng seriously. Complicated things? Shi Jiang was a bit surprised. Please forgive me for not telling you right now. I'm sure you'll find out soon, said Luo Feng. Seeing this, Shi Jiang smiled and nodded. He didn't mind. Actually, Shi Jiang wouldn't invite Luo Feng to form a squad just because he's in the 40s. The main reason why Shi Jiang wanted to team up with Luo Feng was because the head, Hong, praised Luo Feng's spiritual force. Even if they can't team up, with Shi Jiang's status and strength, there are plenty of students who want to form a squad with him. Soon, 183 students. Some formed a squad of 2, some formed a squad of 3, and some formed a squad of 6. There were also 5 of them alone. Contact me if you need anything. See you in 28 days. Luo Feng said goodbye to his familiar friends and carried his backpack, shield, ghost blade, and 10 throwing knives in his pocket. Just like that, he walked across the endless wasteland. Hey Wei Tong, is that Luo Feng by himself? Candace stood beside a Chinese youth. Yes, we invited him just now, but he refused. The Chinese youth named Wei Tong shook his head and smiled. He dares to be alone in the 3 great danger zones. They were all full of confidence. This time, among the 5 people who came alone, the other 4 were all ranked in the top 20. As for this Luo Feng, his true identity is a spirit reader, so he's very powerful. Candace, however, squinted his eyes and looked in the direction Luo Feng left in. He then lowered his head and looked at the map on his tactical communications watch, trying to identify it. "Candace, let's go." "Candace!" the three young white men and women shouted. "He's here." Candace memorized Luo Feng's approximate direction, turned around, and met up with his squad, heading in the direction they set. The continent of Australia's climate is the exact opposite of China's. Right now, it's the beginning of August, the hottest time of the year in China. However, in the continent of Australia, it's the end of winter, so the temperature is around 4 to 5 degrees Celsius. However, for Luo Feng, whose fitness level has almost reached the beginner war god level, he can still go topless even if it's a few dozen degrees below zero. As the wind blew, the grass drooped, revealing quite a few monsters that ate grass with their heads lowered. Among the monsters, there are carnivores and herbivores. However, they all have one thing in common. Almost all of the monsters are extremely aggressive. Whoosh! A fleeting shadow flashed past these monsters, not disturbing them at all. This was the solo Luo Feng. According to the map, there's a mountain range around 300 miles away. "I'll build a temporary base there," thought Luo Feng to himself. Luo Feng thought to himself, "If my guess isn't wrong, Candace from the training camp is one of Vulture Scorpion's eyes. As long as one isn't an idiot, they can guess that Vanina is Candace's aunt. Candace will probably tell Vulture Scorpion where I'm heading." Luo Feng shook his head and laughed. When he separated from the other students, he had taken a detour on purpose. If Vulture Li Yao had followed Candace's directions, it would have been a waste of time. "Let's build a stronghold first and have a place to stay. Then, we'll start hunting Lord-class monsters." Luo Feng thought to himself, hunting monsters in August doesn't count for points anyway, so the dojo won't search. This time, I'll take this opportunity to earn more money. To the other war god warriors, the Australian continent was also an extremely terrifying and dangerous place. But to Luo Feng, an existence that's close to invincible amongst advanced-level war gods. The Australian continent, a world filled with countless monsters, was his ATM. As long as he doesn't provoke an emperor-level monster, with Luo Feng's strength, there's practically no danger. It wasn't that strange. For example, it was very difficult for a war god to die in a city in the wilderness of Huaxia country. The entire country would hold a mourning ceremony for one of them. However, while the 3 danger zones are dangerous for normal war gods, they are relatively safe for advanced-level war gods. And to Luo Feng, there was almost no danger. It's quite difficult to hunt down powerful lords. I will first use the strength of a martial artist to seduce the lord, and then use my telekinesis to control the flying daggers to finish off the lord. Kill more lords to earn more money. Spirit readers have always been wealthy among fighters. And this time, besides dealing with Li Yao, Luo Feng's other targets are the leaders. As for commander-level monsters, Luo Feng can't even be bothered to kill them. Luo Feng doesn't even care about the space in his bag for commander-level monster materials. There's no helping it. He only has one bag. Whoosh, whoosh. Luo Feng's drifting figure was like the wind as he moved forward in the wasteland with a speed of around 300 meters per second. The monsters on the way were nothing to him. Europe, Paris base city. Paris headquarter city was known as the most prosperous headquarter city out of the 6 headquarter cities in Europe. It was located in the heart of France, and because most of the island countries were destroyed during the Grand Nirvana period, most of the rich people of England had already fled from England, and the normal English people who could escape also entered Paris headquarter city. In a luxurious limousine in the main city area of Paris base city. Got it? Vanina hung up the phone and looked towards Li Yao helplessly as she shook her head. Yao, after all the mercenaries found out about Luo Feng's identity, they all rejected our requests. That's not weird. Li Yao squinted his eyes as he sat on the comfortable sofa in the car. None of those mercenaries dared to mess with the Dojo of Limits. That Luo Feng is a member of the Dojo of Limits after all. Not bad. I'm already very satisfied. After all, there are still 3 war gods who accepted our employment in their personal capacity. Yes. Vanina nodded. Even though all of the mercenaries failed, some of the war gods accepted their requests as private individuals. After all, it's not easy for war gods to earn money. War gods are divided into advanced level war gods, intermediate level war gods, and beginner level war gods. 1 intermediate level war god and 2 beginner level war gods accepted their requests this time. Beginner level war gods 1.5 billion euros. Intermediate level war gods 3 billion euros. This is equivalent to a year's worth of income for war gods to attack a 19-year-old kid. And they believed that the dojo of limits wouldn't go so far as to cause trouble for the hired war gods. Chi. The car stopped and the door opened. Vanina and Li Yao both got off the car. Voila! A bus and a truck also stopped behind them. The doors opened and around 50 people swiftly walked out of the bus. 8 or 9 people also came out of the truck. All of them were carrying boxes. Li Yao and Vanina both walked over. "Be careful, handle it with care," yelled Li Yao in a low voice. Yes, the elites carrying the boxes were all extremely careful. They clearly knew what was inside each box. This was humanity's ultimate weapon against monsters: a laser cannon. A laser cannon is a large optical weapon. Its structure is extremely complicated, there are many parts, and it's huge. That's why normal passenger planes and trains can carry laser cannons. Or even headquarters cities have laser cannons as part of their defense system. Because when a laser cannon is assembled, especially one with a super high frequency, it's huge. Once it's assembled, there's no way to move it. That's why they're all parts right now. They'll only be assembled when they arrive at their destination. I thought of a way to get this set. Even though it's not the highest level, Vanina lowered her voice. However, at its highest frequency, it should be able to heavily injure an Emperor-level monster. It has a 100% chance of killing a Horde leader-level monster. If you use it against Luo Feng, it'll definitely be fine. However, the biggest problem is energy. The energy this time is enough to fire at its highest frequency 3 times. The second stage can fire at its highest frequency 9 times. Save some energy, Li Yao slightly nodded. In order to get his hands on this thing, he spent a lot of effort. Thankfully, it was in Europe, the headquarters of the HR Alliance. Even though the Paulinus family is a large arms dealer, it still took quite a bit of effort to get it. Li. A passionate voice carried from the side. 3 men walked over, 2 white men and 1 yellow-skinned man. These 3 were the 3 war gods invited by Li Yao this time. Li Yao smiled as he greeted them. Suddenly, his phone rang. "Hello," Li Yao picked up the phone. "Mr. Li, the higher-ups have ordered us to stop all of our operations. I'm sorry." The voice on the other side of the phone was low and apologetic. Li Yao's face immediately changed and became ferocious. "Stop? Who gave the order? Who?" "A direct order from headquarters," said the voice on the other side of the phone. Li Yao's face was terrible. "Yao, what's wrong?" asked Vanina on the side. Li Yao's face was green as he said in a low voice. "The people I arranged in China have stopped their operations." "Stopped?" Vanina was also shocked. Suddenly, Vanina's phone also vibrated. Vanina immediately walked to the side and picked it up. "Vanina!" A slightly loud voice rang. Vanina's face changed and she immediately became extremely respectful. "Chairman! The entire HR Alliance's management is the Alliance's parliament, which is also the legendary underground parliament. And the chairman is the person with the highest authority in the parliament. As the head of the HR Alliance, you can imagine how high his position is. What kind of status does the head of the HR Alliance, which controls half of the world's economy, have? There are several existences surpassing the war god level that are related to her and are even willing to be invited by her to work for the Alliance. Vanina, listen carefully," the loud voice became strict. You will definitely not be allowed to touch Luo Feng's family. Once that happens, your Paulinus family will be punished by the entire alliance. Vanina's face changed dramatically. Humph. The phone was already hung up. What's wrong? Liao walked over and looked at Vanina with confusion. The chairman personally called. Vanina's face was pale. She wasn't an idiot. For the head of the entire HR alliance, the boss, to personally call and warn a core family to be punished by the entire alliance. The HR alliance is definitely under unprecedented pressure. Pressure from one person. P.S. 2 chapters completed. Call for recommendation tickets. These tickets are free, so everyone has them. Chapter 139. A call from the speaker? Liao's expression changed too. Although he was one of the top figures in the War God Circle, compared to the head of the HR Alliance, he wasn't even on the same level. The chairman was the emperor of the underground world. Come here. Vanina dragged Liao far away and lowered her voice. The chairman just called to warn us not to touch Luo Feng's family no matter what. If that happens, the Paulinus family will be sanctioned by the entire alliance. What? Liao frowned. That's impossible. Your Paulinus family is also one of the core families. Although he is the speaker, if he wants the entire alliance to punish a core family, he will have to go through a collective vote in the underground parliament. One word from him doesn't have that much power. Vanina said in a low voice. It means that the chairman believes that this decision will be passed once the meeting is convened. Liao was surprised. He understood in this world, probably only Hong and Thunder God, these two absolute experts, could shake the entire HR alliance with a single sentence. And the one who stood up for Luo Feng was probably Hong. Bastard. What a lucky bastard. Liao cursed. He wanted nothing more than to cut Luo Feng into 1,000 pieces. He originally wanted to kill Luo Feng's entire family to vent his anger, but now it was clear. After Hong spoke, the HR Alliance would probably send people to protect Luo Feng's family even without Hong sending people. Liao couldn't send anyone at all. Since Dojo Master Hong intervened, let's spare his family. Liao coldly snorted. Hong knows about this, but he didn't stop me from dealing with Luo Feng. I'm afraid he wants to use me to train Luo Feng. Liao was also in a high position. He could easily guess Hong's thoughts. Training? If the training fails, Luo Feng will die. Liao's eyes were cold. Vanina, you stay in the Paris Bay City. We'll keep in touch. Yes. Vanina nodded. On the passenger plane. The plane departed at 11:45 in the afternoon, leaving Paris Bay City for the Australian mainland. There were only about 60 passengers on the plane. The 60 people were the people that Liao had brought to the Australian continent this time. Some of them were responsible for installing and using the laser cannon. What, Mr. Li, is that a laser cannon? The yellow-skinned man next to him was shocked. Oh God. The other two white men were also stunned. Laser cannons are forbidden weapons. One of the bearded white men said, the Earth Union forbids the smuggling of laser cannons and nuclear bombs. Even if you ban it, aren't there still people transporting it? Laser cannons and nuclear bombs are shipped from America and Europe to the weaker base cities every year. The Earth Union turns a blind eye to it. Moreover, the Earth Union was formed by the 5 great countries. The power is in the hands of the 5 great countries. The Earth Union is just a puppet. The other 3 war gods couldn't help but laugh. Laser cannons, and nuclear bombs were the 2 ultimate weapons of human society. Nuclear bombs had a large attack range and were powerful, but their weakness was that they produced radiation, which could easily cause monsters to mutate. Laser cannons, a single attack, known as Death Ray, was humanity's favorite weapon. Mr. Li, you have some skills. I admire you. The yellow-skinned man laughed. I want to buy this laser cannon. Does Mr. Li have any channels to get one for me? That won't do. Li Yao shook his head. After I finish using this laser cannon, I have to put it back immediately. If I lose it for too long, it will be easy to find out. At that time, it will be troublesome. Why? Kitahara Takashi, you Japanese should have some channels to get laser cannons, right? Japan was an economic power before the Grand Nirvana period. However, they were an island country. Because they hunted and killed too many sharks and other large fish, during the Grand Nirvana period, the monsters mutated. After sharks and other large fish mutated, they became extremely powerful. There were quite a few Lord-grade sea monsters, and there were even King-grade monsters. Horde leader and King-level monsters already had intelligence comparable to humans. Therefore, they wanted revenge. Gather the army and besiege Japan. Japan's defense had always been troublesome. They had to face the endless amount of monsters in the sea that tore through the land along the rivers and entered the land. The flying monsters in the sky worked together to launch pincer attacks, and even the arrival of the king-level monsters, Japan could only struggle with all its might. Unable to resist, all of its citizens could only think of ways to escape. Because at the beginning of the Grand Nirvana, the degree of mutation of the monsters wasn't high, many people with power and influence escaped. Although the original country only had a few million people left, but after a few decades of recuperation, the Japanese were now considered a small ethnic group in the world. The channel fees are too expensive. Bei Yuan Gang said solemnly, Mr. Li, if you can help me get a laser cannon, I'm willing to pay 20 times the cost. 20 times? Li Yao raised his eyebrow. Laser cannons were expensive to manufacture, and with their unique characteristics, they could not be bought with money. I'm envious, but I don't have the ability. The passenger plane entered the Australian mainland. Li Yao, on the other hand, left the cabin alone and went to the bathroom. Hello, Vanina. Li Yao contacted Vanina. Where is Luo Feng right now? The HR Alliance can confirm a fighter's location through their tactical communications watches. I can't confirm, an anxious voice carried from the tactical communications watch. I'm trying to think of another way. Why can't you confirm? Li Yao's face changed. The HR Alliance can confirm a fighter's location through their tactical communications watches. Back then, they were searching for the large amounts of information on the fighters around Li Wei's corp. His tactical communications watch shows the location of the elite training camp. Vanina's voice was also anxious. Elite training camp? No, he's in the Australian mainland. Li Yao was confused. Of course not, this means. Luo Feng changed his tactical communications watch. The voice from the tactical communications watch was very quiet. His previous tactical communications watch was placed in the training camp. As for the tactical communications watch he's using now, the HR Alliance has no record of it. This was the truth. Before August 1st, Luo Feng's battle ability amplifier reached 12. He received a huge reward, which included a battle uniform, a full set of weapons, binoculars, a tactical communications watch, etc. Luo Feng switched to a new tactical communications watch, which was specially made by the Dojo of Limit. Only high-level members can wear it. It wasn't made by the HR Alliance, so naturally, there are no loopholes. The HR Alliance also has no record of it. Luo Feng's tactical communications watch was probably specially made by the Dojo of Limits, so we have no way of checking, said Vanina. Then what do we do? Li Yao panicked. Without knowing Luo Feng's location, finding a person in the vast Australian mainland is like finding a needle in a haystack. Right now, there's only one way. Call Luo Feng's tactical communications watch. Once we get through, we'll be able to find his location, said Vanina. This function was very common. Normal cell phones have this function. As long as you call someone, even if they don't pick up, you can still find their location through the connection. Then we'll call him, said Li Yao. But, I haven't found his new tactical communications watch's number yet, said Vanina helplessly. If you don't know his number, how do you make a call? Actually, Luo Feng just got his new tactical communications watch on August 1st. The only people who know his number are the students in the Chinese faction who have a good relationship with Luo Feng. Check, we have to find his number. Li Yao was panicking. He just got his new tactical communications watch, so very few people know his number. Some of his friends in the training camp probably know his number. And the elite training camp's own management department will also have his contact information, said Vanina helplessly. However, I can't infiltrate the internal departments of the Dojo of Limits. Hurry, check, the plane is about to land. We can't just carry so many boxes and fight against the monsters, right? If we encounter a monster horde, the laser cannon's intricate components might be damaged by just a little bit, and the entire machine might break. Li Yao was panicking. Hurry and confirm Luo Feng's location. Okay, I'll let Candace try again. After hanging up, Li Yao returned to the cabin. The other people in the cabin were very relaxed. Klein, Li Yao asked a middle-aged white man, will there be any problems if we move these boxes a few hundred kilometers and then reassemble them? This Klein respectfully said, Mr. Li, even though every component in these boxes is well protected and normal impacts won't cause any problems, but this is an intricate optical weapon. But this is a sophisticated optical weapon. If one of its components is damaged, the entire laser cannon might not work. So we can't take the risk. Li Yao couldn't help but to grit his teeth. He was panicking. What's the range of this laser cannon? Asked Li Yao. Talking about range is very unscientific, said Klein seriously. Even though the laser cannon is the ultimate weapon, it also has its weaknesses. But it also had its weaknesses. First of all, it traveled in a straight line. However, the entire Earth is a sphere, so the Earth's surface isn't a flat surface, but a curved surface. If the target is a bit further away, we won't be able to see the target from the ground. So naturally the laser cannon won't be able to hit it. So the laser cannon must be set up at a high place, that way the range will be longer. Of course, the target is a spirit reader. If he flies in the sky, we can find him from a distance, and there won't be any obstacles in a straight line. Then, we can instantly kill him, smiled Klein. There's no need to doubt the laser cannon's power. The problem now is to make him fly in the sky. If he's on the ground, as long as he's a bit further away, we won't be able to attack, said Klein. One more thing. Pay attention to the weather. If there's heavy fog or heavy rain, we won't be able to attack. The laser cannon is formed by light. The particles in the heavy rain and fog will cause the light to refract and so on, greatly weakening the laser cannon's power, so the laser cannon must be set up at a high point close to the target. That way, it'll be easier to find a chance to kill the target, said Klein. Li Yao nodded. He also knew. But without knowing Luo Feng's position, how could he land the plane? P.S. Chapter 1 here, double the monthly votes, the competition sure is intense. Just a bit more and I'll be number 1. Chapter 140. Today, Chapter 2. Mr. Li, the captain of the passenger plane, personally came to the cabin. Li Yao looked towards him. The captain said, Mr. Li, tonight, our plane still needs to fly from Paris headquarters city to Washington headquarters city. So, we can only stay here for another half an hour. If Mr. Li doesn't tell us where to land in half an hour, then we can only. Li Yao frowned. I understand. Every passenger plane is extremely expensive and is an important strategic weapon for the country. Li Yao can't waste too much time. While Li Yao was extremely troubled, Luo Feng was extremely satisfied. Actually, Li Yao's trip to Paris headquarters city on August 1st took quite a bit of time with the addition of the 3 war gods and the laser cannon. When Li Yao left, it was already August 5th. The center of the continent of Australia. In a mountain range. The largest monster horde in this mountain range is the ape horde. In a rather dark cave, Luo Feng was organizing the monster materials in his bag and putting them at the bottom of his bag. Today, I'll kill the leader of this ape horde. Hee, no wonder it's one of the 3 danger zones. There are so many monsters and so many Horde leader-level monsters. It's already the 4th day. However, he only managed to kill 1 Horde leader-level monster, and it's a low-level Horde leader. No wonder they say that Horde leader-level monsters are hard to defeat and even harder to kill. Luo Feng was helpless. He's a spirit reader, so his methods are much more unpredictable than irregular fighters. However, he already found 11 Horde leader-level monsters in the past 3 days. However, every Horde leader-level monster was extremely cunning. Once they see that something is wrong, they will run. Luo Feng's throwing knife has a limited range. It's most powerful within 50 meters, and it uses up the least amount of spiritual force. At 100 meters, he can barely maintain his full power. However, because of the distance, it uses up more spiritual force. As for the further the distance, its power drops. And Horde leader-level monsters can move 100 meters away with a single movement. I only managed to kill 1 out of 11 Horde leader-level monsters, and that's because I'm a spirit reader. No wonder war gods say that it's hard to earn money. They'd rather kill high-grade beast generals than fight against Horde lords. Luo Feng picked up his water bag and drank a few mouthfuls. After that, he immediately put everything away, put on his bag, shield, and ghost blade in hand as he carefully set out. Luo Feng fiercely jumped along the cliff of a mountain, directly jumping over a distance of 70 to 80 meters, and landed on another mountain. After that, he continued sprinting forward. Sometimes he jumped, sometimes he ran, and sometimes he made unimaginably graceful movements, as though he was walking on flat ground in this mountain range. HM? Luo Feng suddenly stopped, half squatting on one of the cliffs. We're here. Luo Feng could clearly hear the noise. He lowered his head and looked down. The canyon below was filled with all sorts of ape-type monsters. At first glance, there were definitely tens of thousands of them. According to Luo Feng's experience hunting monsters these past few days, the most powerful monster in this mountain range is this group of apes. There were 3 Horde leader monsters in this ape tribe, and their leader was a high Horde leader. They could be said to be the number 1 tribe in this mountain range. Luo Feng also named this unknown mountain range as Ape Mountain Range. Where's the leader of this ape tribe today? That high Horde leader Golden Ape, not here? Luo Feng looked carefully. Among the large amount of apes in the canyon, there were 2 apes that stood out the most. They were both gigantic apes with purple fur, and they were the number 1 ape-type monsters, the Herculean demonic ape. Even though the Herculean demonic ape is the number 1 ape-type monster, these 2 Herculean demonic apes are only low-level Horde leader-level monsters. Howl, an ear-piercing howl seemed like it was going to tear the sky apart. Suddenly, the entire ape tribe was in an uproar. Below them was a giant ape that was 20 meters tall and covered in a layer of golden scales. It was dragging a silver python that was more than 30 meters long with one hand. Wherever it went, all of the ape-type monsters moved aside. Even the 2 Herculean demonic apes ran over and cheered as if they were flattering it. Howl, the gigantic ape, walked to the smooth platform in the innermost area and sat down on its butt. It ferociously ripped open the python that had its head completely shattered. Voila, the python was forcefully ripped in half and fresh blood sprayed everywhere. Instantly, tens of thousands of ape-type monsters cried out in excitement. The gigantic ape casually threw one of the python corpses to the side. The 2 Herculean demonic apes immediately started eating excitedly. On the other hand, the giant ape sat there and happily ate. It didn't care about the python's corpse's blood flowing on its scales. It's actually that silver electric python. I didn't manage to kill it, and it was actually killed by this golden ape. Luo Feng, who was peeking down from the cliff, watched with shock. That low-level Horde leader-level silver electric python was one of the 11 Horde leader-level monsters that Luo Feng fought before. However, the silver electric python was too sly, and with the large amounts of pythons under its command, Luo Feng didn't succeed. Who would have thought that it would be killed by this high-level horde leader-level golden ape? I have to make it think that I'm a normal fighter in order to catch it off guard, thought Luo Feng to himself. The golden ape is the number 2 ape-type monster. Actually, there are 2 main types of ape-type monsters. One is the hairy ape-type, and the other is the scaled ape-type. Of the hairy ape-type, the Herculean demonic ape is the leader. And of the scaled ape-type, the Herculean demonic ape is the leader. At the same level, the Herculean demonic ape is a bit stronger than the golden ape. However, the high-level horde leader golden ape has boundless strength, extreme speed, and shocking defense. It's not easy to mess with. My killer move is to use my spiritual force to control the throwing knife and kill it, but once I hurt it, I can't kill it. It senses that its life is in danger and will definitely escape. Once it escapes, I definitely won't be able to catch it. Luo Feng was clear that he only had one chance. If he doesn't kill the golden ape the first time, the golden ape won't give him a second chance. In the canyon, the cries of countless ape-type monsters shook the sky. The 3 great ape horde leaders were eating the flesh of the lightning python. Suddenly, a black silhouette that looked like a black panther shot down from the sky and directly stomped on the body of one of the ape-type monsters. With a pring sound, the ape-type monster's body directly exploded and blood and flesh flew everywhere. And using the force of this stomp, Luo Feng dashed towards the center of the ape horde like lightning. There were 3 horde leaders. Howl, howl, the 2 Herculean demonic apes roared angrily. Immediately, a large amount of commander-level apes and even more soldier-level apes crazily surrounded Luo Feng. Get out of the way! Luo Feng's eyes were like lightning and his body was like the wind as he swiftly advanced. The ghost blade in his hand instantly turned into a bolt of lightning. Blade after blade flashed past, and the bodies of the ape monsters were cut open. Blood flew everywhere and bodies flew everywhere. In the Tower of Trials, Luo Feng was able to hold his own against a large amount of monsters with the same level of strength. And now, against the obstruction of commander-level and soldier-level monsters, it's as easy as smashing dry weed. Everywhere he went, blood and corpses were everywhere. Fresh blood dyed his battle uniform red. Luo Feng ferociously stepped on the back of an ape and directly leaped towards the center. Howl, on the platform in the center, the sitting golden ape casually grabbed a rock beside it and fiercely threw it towards Luo Feng. Boom! With the size of the golden ape's palm, this rock had a diameter of around 1 meter. Such a large rock was like a cannonball and arrived in front of Luo Feng in the blink of an eye. The huge rock created a powerful pressure that caused the surrounding air to vibrate. Logically speaking, Luo Feng could have used his spiritual force to push the rock from the side, and the rock would have smashed to the side. But Luo Feng didn't want to expose his spiritual force. Ha! Luo Feng tried his best to lower his body in midair, and tilted his shield. The huge rock brushed against the shield and flew away. Luo Feng, on the other hand, landed in the ape horde below. Once he landed in the horde, a bloody storm ensued. Luo Feng instantly killed around 10 ape monsters around him. After that, his body flashed and he arrived on the platform in the center. Boom! 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 3 boulders were smashed by the adamantine ape overlord. And Luo Feng displayed his perfect level technique. Like a streak of green smoke, he slightly swayed on the platform and dodged 2 of the huge rock. He used the force to block the 3rd rock. Hoo! The air violently vibrated, and even created a shock wave that could be seen with the naked eye. Fist! The instant Luo Feng dodged the 3rd boulder, he saw a gigantic fist covered in golden scales arrive in front of him. That golden ape, who was sitting on the platform a moment ago, threw a lightning-fast punch in front of Luo Feng's face. It was extremely fast. The golden ape's eyes were filled with coldness. Human? It hasn't killed a human in a long time. However, to all powerful monsters, humans are their common enemy. And it also believes that this punch, which it calculated, came at a crucial moment. The human in front of it definitely won't be able to dodge in time and can only take it head-on. However, even an advanced-level war god fighter wouldn't dare to take a high-level horde leader's punch head-on. If this human in front of it takes it head-on, even if he doesn't turn into meat paste, his internal organs will be shattered. I've been waiting for you for a long time. You came uninvited. Luo Feng laughed loudly against this punch. Who? His body weirdly swayed. In a situation where there's nothing for a human to use as leverage, he weirdly swayed like a leaf being blown by the wind and directly dodged the golden ape's horrifying punch. The golden ape was shocked. How did this human dodge? Don't tell me. He's the most special of humans. The golden ape didn't even give the golden ape time to think. The instant Luo Feng used his spiritual force to dodge, whoosh, 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 whoosh. 6 black throwing knives, 2 SS grade throwing knives and 4 9 series throwing knives, 6 bolts of lightning. Shooting. Target the golden ape's head. Ha! The golden ape's eyes widened. Its right fist that was smashing towards Luo Feng instantly expanded and turned into a gigantic palm as it slammed towards Luo Feng. At the same time, its left palm appeared in front of its face like lightning and its body slightly tilted. Pu. 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 3 throwing knives shot towards the palm of its left hand and only pierced through the surface. A bit of golden red blood dyed the palm red. Pu. Pu. 2 throwing knives pierced into the golden ape's face. One of them only pierced halfway in before it got stuck by the facial muscles and couldn't go any further. As for the other flying dagger, it only managed to pierce through his scalp before it was blocked by his hard skull. Pu. The last throwing knife grazed the golden ape's neck and created a gigantic wound. Fresh blood sprayed out like water, causing the golden ape to let out an extremely angry roar. P.S. Chapter 2 is up, there's still Chapter 3. Chapter 141. Today's third chapter. When the gigantic palm slapped towards Luo Feng only felt the sky and earth go dark. He immediately stomped on the ground and used his spiritual force on his arm guard. His entire body swiftly flew to the side and dodged that horrifying palm. Weng, the golden ape's palm slammed into the platform below. The platform shook and directly cracked open. Who? The golden ape's right palm moved like lightning and slapped towards Luo Feng unwillingly. The horrifying explosion was deafening. The shockwave formed by the wind from the palm even affected some of the apes and mountain walls on the side. Suddenly, the mountain rocks rumbled and rolled down. Quite a few ape monsters were directly shocked to death by the shockwave. They bled from all 7 orifices and died on the spot. Under these 2 palms, Luo Feng's body moved erratically and he often dodged in ways that normal people couldn't. This human, after the golden ape waved its palms, even though it wasn't satisfied, it still decisively ran away. Too late. Die. Luo Feng stared at the golden ape. When the golden ape waved its palms, the 6 throwing knives had already left the golden ape's body and were around 10 meters away. And then they instantly sped up again. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The 6 throwing knives transformed into 6 black flowing lights and shot towards the golden ape's neck. There was a gigantic wound there. Howl, the golden ape roared angrily. However, these 6 flying knives all had slight arcs and instantly reached 10 times the speed of sound. The golden ape couldn't escape at all and could only barely dodge. However, after a few poochie sounds, the golden ape's body flashed and reappeared around 100 meters away. Then, with a loud rumble, it fell to the ground and crushed quite a few other ape monsters to death. Dead. The golden ape actually died. The entire ape horde was silent. All of the ape monsters stared at the gigantic creature on the ground. Originally, that was their leader. Boom! Boom! The two demonic apes transformed into two flowing lights and swiftly escaped. In the blink of an eye, they disappeared from the canyon. Only after that did the sound of an explosion resound. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Countless apes screamed as they immediately collapsed and ran away. Soon, not a single ape was left alive in the entire canyon. Those two demonic apes sure ran fast, laughed Luofeng. With a leap like lightning, he arrived beside the golden ape's corpse. Who? The 6 throwing knives floated in the air and returned to Luofeng's throwing knife bag. How lucky! With the defensive power of the diamond ape, it almost escaped. The life force of this golden ape was actually extremely tenacious. Its body was covered in scales and its muscles were sturdy. Luofeng's throwing knife was stuck by its muscles when it stabbed into its face. One can only imagine how ridiculous its defense was. Unless it was pierced through the nostrils, mouth, eyes, or even the skull, it was usually very difficult to kill. And on its body, the defense around its neck was relatively low. The first time Luofeng sliced open the wound, the second time, a throwing knife pierced the wound. The throwing knife traveled along the wound and directly into the golden ape's skull. With a ferocious twist, the golden ape died on the spot. Otherwise, even if the diamond ape's throat was pierced, with the size of the flying dagger, it would only cause serious injuries to the diamond ape's enormous body and vitality, but it wouldn't die. A diamond ape, a high-level horde leader diamond ape. Hee, not many advanced-level war gods can successfully kill one. Luofeng was extremely happy. He couldn't help but to take out his SS-grade throwing knife and started cutting at the diamond ape's chest. The most valuable part of the diamond ape was the large piece of scale armor in the middle of its chest. The diamond ape that was over 20 meters long died on the ground. And now, he's dissecting its body for materials. Luofeng suddenly felt that this scene was quite mysterious. I still remember when I was in high school, when I went home with one, the black-crowned golden eagle flew over Yangzhou City and shattered quite a bit of glass with its cry. That time, I thought to myself that in the future, I'll definitely become a powerful fighter that can kill a black-crowned golden eagle and a demonic ape. Luofeng shook his head as he laughed. And just now, when the two demonic apes saw me, they ran away in fear. Life is just this unpredictable. Last year, he was still so weak. And this year, he's already become a powerful fighter. Last year, he was still being chased by the steel-armored dragon. And today, he killed a diamond ape that was close in strength to the steel-armored dragon. Dissecting the scales was extremely troublesome, but Luofeng wasn't afraid of it at all. Instead, he hummed a tune as he dissected with his SS-grade throwing knife. Troublesome? If I sell this high-level horde leader diamond ape to the HR Alliance, I can sell it for 12 billion Chinese dollars. It's just dissecting it for materials. Who would complain about money being troublesome? Luofeng was extremely happy. Normal high-level horde leader-level monsters are sold for 5 billion Chinese dollars, 20 billion Chinese dollars. The steel-armored dragon has the dragon name, so it can be sold for 18 billion. The diamond ape can be sold for 12 billion, which is quite expensive even among high-level horde leaders. Right as Luofeng was leisurely dissecting, suddenly, the tactical communications watch vibrated. HM? Luofeng's eyebrows twitched, and he lowered his head to look. Senior Shijiang? Luofeng immediately picked up the call. Hello, Luofeng, Senior Shijiang's familiar voice carried from the tactical communications watch. Luofeng couldn't help but to laugh. Senior Shijiang, how have you been these past few days? Not too bad. I found a town and I'm resting in a broken mansion every day. Sometimes I'll come out to hunt monsters. Yesterday, I met a low-level horde leader monster. However, that monster ran away too quickly. Sure enough, horde leader monsters are hard to kill, said Shijiang. Oh yeah, Luofeng. Just now, someone asked for your new number from me. Oh? Luofeng was shocked. Didn't you say that if someone asks for your number, I'll immediately notify you? Laughed Shijiang. Yeah, thanks, laughed Luofeng. Who asked for my number? Wei Tong, said Shijiang. I asked him if he asked for your number on behalf of someone else, but he wouldn't admit it. He said that he asked for the number himself, Wei Tong? Luofeng slightly nodded. That's not weird. Luofeng guessed that Candace would ask his good friends in the Chinese faction to help him ask for the number. Yeah, be careful if you're alone. We'll talk when we have time, Shijiang then hung up. Luofeng let out a smile as he sat on the arm of the golden ape's gigantic body. Of course. They want to find my location through my phone number. His tactical communications watch was new, and so was his number. And if the vulture-scorpion couple wants revenge, they'll probably have to use his phone number. And he didn't tell his family about his new phone number. Only a few people in the training camp and the management of the training camp know about it. Good. Looks like they're making their move. Luofeng didn't mind at all, because he knew that he couldn't make the vulture-scorpion and vulture give up on revenge. Since they have to fight, he might as well take the initiative. Since with the vulture-scorpion and vulture-scorpion, as long as they have enough time, it's not impossible for them to get his number from the training camp. So Luofeng already told Shijiang, Zhao Ruo, and the others that if someone asks for his number, they can give it to them. Around 5 minutes later, Luofeng took off the large-scale armor from the golden ape's chest and put it into his bag. Right as he was resting on the side, his tactical communications watch vibrated. Hello, Luofeng picked up the phone. Little Gon, hurry up and go home for dinner, we're all waiting for you, a woman's voice rose. I'm not Little Gon, Luofeng asked back. You called the wrong number, right? Wrong number? Sorry, the phone quickly hung up. Luofeng let out a smile. Pretty good disguise, wrong number? Calling the wrong number does happen occasionally. This number is from Hong Ning Headquarter City. And Hong Ning Headquarter City's language is Chinese, so this woman is also speaking Chinese. If they were in the elite training camp, I wouldn't suspect anything. What a pity. I reckon that it won't be long before they come to this mountain range. Luofeng swiftly got up and walked towards the silver electric python's corpse. Yeah, after I take the gallbladder, I'll go welcome the vulture-scorpion couple. Dissecting the silver electric python's corpse is 100 times easier than dissecting the golden ape's corpse. Luofeng was lucky. Half of the corpse was eaten, but the gallbladder wasn't eaten yet. Time to go. Luofeng ferociously stomped on the ground and directly jumped 80 meters into the air. He stepped on a rock halfway up the mountain. After that, he swiftly leaped into the distance. After 3 leaps, he disappeared into the mountain range. On the passenger plane, the captain was anxiously sitting on the side. Mr. Li, I'll give you at most 5 more minutes. Don't rush, we're almost there, frowned Li Yao. Suddenly, Li Yao's tactical communications watch vibrated. Li Yao immediately picked it up. Yao, I've already sent you Luofeng's coordinates, Vanina's voice rose. Very good. Li Yao's eyes flashed with excitement. After that, he checked the coordinates he received. It's only around 300 kilometers from here, and he's actually in a mountain range? Captain, let's go. Go here and stop at the wasteland at the foot of the mountain, commanded Li Yao. All right, the captain, who had been waiting impatiently, immediately gave the order. The passenger plane immediately flew towards Luofeng's mountain range. With the terrifying speed of the passenger plane, it only took a few minutes to arrive 300 kilometers. In the Ape Mountain range, there was a mountain that was over 1,000 meters tall, which was already the highest mountain in the entire mountain range. Luofeng was currently on top of this mountain, paying attention to all directions in the sky. Not long after, with the speed of the passenger plane, it should be fast, muttered Luofeng. They're here. Luofeng slightly smiled. In the distance in the north, a blur stopped and slowly descended. It was indeed a large passenger plane. As the passenger plane's hatch opened, silhouettes jumped out one by one. The person leading them was the person Luo Feng saw on the internet a long time ago. Advanced level war god Vulture Li Yao. Vultures here? Where's Scorpion? Luo Feng held his binoculars and looked carefully. Oh hee. Quite a few people came, quite a few boxes. The hatches closed? Looks like Scorpion didn't come. 1, 2. Yeah, a total of 59 people. Luo Feng was paying attention to all of Li Yao's and the others' movements. Vulture Li Yao, you came to kill me. So I'll have to pay you a visit first. Luo Feng's gaze turned cold. Kill Vulture Li Yao as soon as possible. P.S. 3 chapters completed. Next chapter begins fighting. GA. Chapter 142. From the foot of the mountain to where they are, it's around 3 miles. Luo Feng hid on top of the mountain and looked down at the wasteland below him. This wasteland hasn't been cleaned by humans for dozens of years, so it's always been overgrown with weeds. If a person squats in the weeds, as long as they aren't too close, they really won't be discovered. Luo Feng let out a smile and already had a plan in his head. I'll lie flat on the ground and move closer to them. They shouldn't be able to find me. Lying flat on the ground and using my spiritual force to fly close to the ground without making any loud sounds is definitely the closest way to the ground. However, once I lie flat, my backpack will be quite obvious. It'll be easy to be exposed. Before he stored the scales of the golden ape, his backpack wasn't that big, but now it's quite big. After all, the diamond ape overlord was a 20-meter-tall giant ape. Even if the scales on its chest were stacked together, they would still take up a lot of space. Then I'll do it. Luo Feng immediately turned around and jumped down the mountain. When he was in midair, he actually made a turn and attached himself to the side of the mountain. He quietly moved forward and quickly entered his secret hideout. Inside the hideout, in a dark cave, a throwing knife directly flew across a rock in a corner of the cave. Under the control of Luo Feng's spiritual force, a rock flew up. Luo Feng dug a huge hole and threw his backpack into the hole. After that, he covered the gigantic rock in its original spot. Some sand and rocks rolled around and covered the gap. And since this cave is dark, even if someone comes, they probably won't be able to find the backpack hidden underneath. I'll probably take less than half an hour to deal with Li Yao. No monsters have entered my hideout these past 4 days, so there's no way that a monster would come in half an hour. They'll still be able to find my backpack, right? I'm sure my luck isn't that bad. Luo Feng smiled and then quietly left. The wasteland was overgrown with weeds. Luo Feng's entire body was on the ground. More accurately speaking, between him and the ground was his hexagonal shield. Go! Luo Feng's thoughts moved. His spiritual force immediately controlled the hexagonal shield. Luo Feng's entire body was practically sticking to the ground as he swiftly headed towards Li Yao's group. Luo Feng's back was less than 40 centimeters away from the ground. Even some herbivorous monsters in the wasteland would have a hard time finding Luo Feng. In the beginning, Luo Feng's speed was extremely fast, but when the distance between the two reached 500 meters, Luo Feng's speed drastically decreased. Luo Feng saw Li Yao's group through the gaps in the weeds. How did Vulture Li Yao's armor change? Vulture Li Yao was still wearing a black combat suit when he was observing him with the binoculars. But right now, Vulture Li Yao's bare arms and even his hands had turned black. His neck had turned black, and he was even wearing a handsome black helmet on his head. It could be said Vulture Li Yao's entire body was covered in black except for his face. He was also wearing a combat suit. This must be the Black God set, thought Luo Feng to himself. It was exactly the same as what Hong described. This Vulture Li Yao is truly cautious. Luo Feng couldn't help but to curse. I just got off the passenger plane and already used the Black God set. Inside is the Black God set, and on the body is the battle uniform. This battle uniform, even if it's not a SS grade, it's still a 9th series battle uniform. 2 layers of protection. One layer of the battle uniform, and the other layer of the black god set. It's really hard to hurt Li Yao. Don't even mention killing him. When he realizes that I'm a threat, he'll probably cover his entire face, leaving only his eyes, nose, and mouth. Luo Feng slightly frowned. Humph, I can only think of a way to kill him in one hit. When he's not paying attention, I'll pierce through his face. In the dense weeds, Luo Feng slowly flew forward while sticking close to the ground. The distance between the two continued to shrink. 400 meters, 350 meters, 300 meters. In the blink of an eye, he was already 100 meters away. The closer the throwing knives are, the more unprepared he'll be when I attack. With a thought from Luo Feng, 6 throwing knives, including the 2 SS-grade throwing knives, silently flew out of Luo Feng's pocket. The 6 throwing knives directly pierced into the ground and started advancing towards Vulture Li Yao's group. Luo Feng also stopped and laid on the ground without moving. Vulture Li Yao's group was carefully advancing in the wasteland. They didn't want to provoke those monsters. Hurry up, everyone. Li Yao walked while carefully looking in all directions. The 3 war gods behind him, 2 Caucasians and 1 Japanese, were also cautiously looking around. Actually, with the strength of this group of people, they naturally weren't afraid of the monsters, but they were very clear that if they provoked the monsters, or even encountered a group of monsters, it would cause a huge commotion. Luo Feng might notice them. If Luo Feng notices them, then the situation will become more troublesome. Go around this way. Don't provoke the horde of monsters in front, commanded Li Yao. The 3 war gods were also very careful. The elite fighters who were either carrying boxes or holding weapons were also very careful. They actually went around that way? Luo Feng slightly frowned and then quietly moved forward again. His throwing knives can maintain their full power within 100 meters. Beyond 100 meters, their power rapidly decreases as the distance increases. And at a distance of 50 meters, not only are they powerful, but they also use up very little spiritual force to control them. And now, the distance between the two has exceeded 100 meters. Closer, closer. 120 meters, 100 meters, 80 meters. When Luo Feng was 80 meters away from Li Yao's group, he stopped. And at this time, the 6 throwing knives in the wasteland were less than 20 meters away from Vulture Li Yao. Throwing knives also require distance to increase their speed. Do it. Luo Feng's gaze turned cold. Advanced level war god Vulture Li Yao, his intermediate level war god Bei Yuan Gang, and the 2 beginner level war gods James and Isaacson. The 4 of them carefully advanced forward. Whoo! The wind blew past and the weeds swayed. Whoosh! 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 6 black streaks of light were like black lightning as they directly shot out from the ground 5 meters away from Vulture Li Yao. In just a thousandth of a second, the 6 black streaks of light came into contact with Vulture Li Yao. Li Yao. The 3 war gods behind him all reacted and couldn't help but to be shocked. Luo Feng, who was in the bushes far away, was also staring at Vulture Li Yao. He only saw the instant the 6 throwing knives shot towards him. Vulture Li Yao's entire face flashed with a black light. 4 of the 6 throwing knives shot towards Li Yao's face, but Li Yao's face was completely black at this time. How is this possible? Luo Feng stared. In the distance, 4 throwing knives stabbed into Li Yao's black skin, and 2 of them stabbed into Li Yao's black skin on his throat. However, they weren't able to pierce through his skin. Whoosh! Li Yao leapt into the sky and directly jumped 50 to 60 meters high. In midair, the black skin on his face revealed a pair of eyes as he looked downwards. Naturally, he could see everything from high up in the sky. With a glance, he found Luo Feng, who was less than 100 meters away from them. I don't believe it. Luo Feng and Li Yao's eyes met, and both of their eyes were filled with viciousness. Whoosh! 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 6 daggers danced over again and darted at Vulture Li Yao in midair in 6 streaks of brilliance. Vulture Li Yao's indifferent face did not even show the slightest change. He only slightly twisted his body when he was close to the daggers. 3 of the 6 daggers missed their target, and the other 3 only hit him. A black light enveloped Vulture Li Yao. The throwing knives couldn't even pierce through Li Yao's skin. This is the Black God set? War God Bei Yuan Gang also had a look of admiration on his face. The group of elite fighters that Li Yao brought also looked at the godlike Li Yao with admiration. Luo Feng was also shocked. This Black God set is way too heaven-defying. It can completely ignore War God level attacks. Luo Feng. Li Yao clenched his teeth and his eyes were about to spit fire. Kill him! Li Yao immediately descended. And when Li Yao looked towards Luo Feng's direction, the other 3 war gods already knew where the enemy was, so… whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The 3 silhouettes exploded to the speed of sound. In the blink of an eye, the 3 war gods surrounded Luo Feng. Bei Yuan Gang held a shield in one hand and a slightly curved blade in the other. Of the 2 white men, the bearded white man held a battle axe in each hand. The taller and skinnier one held a shield and a thin sword. Humph! Luo Feng sneered. His body weirdly drifted and dodged the 3 war gods. After that, he leaped into midair like lightning. In midair, Luo Feng laughed coldly as he looked down. The 3 war gods, Vulture Li Yao, and around 50 elites couldn't help but to raise their heads and look at Luo Feng. Death has arrived. Luo Feng coldly looked down. Even the other 4 throwing knives on his body immediately dove down from the sky. The 6 throwing knives that were originally attacking Li Yao also immediately split up. A total of 10 throwing knives. Even though Luo Feng can control 6 throwing knives at the same time while maintaining his full power, the power will decrease if he controls more. However, against these elites that aren't even war gods and the other 3 war god, there was no need for the strongest attack at all. The most important thing is efficiency, which is why Luo Feng used 10 throwing knives. When everyone saw the 10 throwing knives hover in the air, not only the elites, but even the 3 war gods' expressions changed. Li Yao, on the other hand, roared furiously and soared into the sky. No! No! Those elite martial artists were all terrified and began to flee. All of you die. Luo Feng's gaze was cold as he gazed below. Xiao! 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 10 flying knives. They transformed into 10 deathly blood-red rays of light. From different directions, like a meat grinder, they shot towards the densely packed crowd. No! A black man shouted, and a blood-red ray of light shot out from his chest. A white elite martial artist's head exploded. Fresh blood instantly floated up and dyed the ancient wasteland red. P.S. This is the first chapter. The gap between the top 3 in the monthly votes ranking is so small. The competition is too intense. The tomato had fallen to 3rd place. Chapter 143. Isaacson, the bearded white brute yelled in fear. 2 rays of death instantly shot towards the tall, skinny white war god fighter. Luo Feng purposefully controlled the direction of these 10 throwing knives. Of course, Luo Feng had to prioritize the 3 war gods. At the same time, 2 throwing knives flew towards the white war god named Isaacson. Isaacson howled. Clang! The sharp sword in his hand barely blocked one of Luo Feng's throwing knives. Poochie! The other throwing knife brushed past his neck and only cut off a piece of flesh. I'm not dead, Isaacson let out a sigh of relief. Watch out, the bearded man yelled as he charged over. Poochie! The 3rd throwing knife pierced through Isaacson's head from behind, causing red and white matter to fly. The bearded white brute on the side couldn't help but to widen his eyes. Isaacson! A war god has fallen. Controlling 10 throwing knives at the same time weakens the power of each throwing knife by a lot. It's so troublesome to deal with a beginner-level war god, thought Luo Feng to himself. When controlling 6 throwing knives, he can maintain his full power. When controlling 7 throwing knives, the power starts to decrease. With each additional throwing knife, the power decreases by quite a bit. Killing a beginner-level war god with 10 throwing knives is so troublesome. Clang! 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 The 3 throwing knives surrounding the yellow-skinned man all failed. An intermediate-level war god is indeed much stronger than a beginner-level war god. Baka! Bei Yuan Gang roared, as if he was arrogant after easily blocking 3 throwing knives. At the same time Luo Feng controlled the 10 throwing knives to slaughter the people below. Vulture Li Yao turned into a black blur as he shot towards Luo Feng. Seeing this, Luo Feng only sneered in his heart. He actually jumped in midair to fight against a spirit reader? Humph, what an idiot! With a thought, a formless spiritual force was used on the shield under his feet. Luo Feng immediately moved horizontally in midair and easily dodged Vulture Li Yao. This is one of the great advantages of a spirit reader. Die! Vulture Li Yao's face was ferocious and his eyes were filled with brutality. When Luo Feng dodged, he actually roared and fiercely swung the knife in his right hand. Who? Vulture Li Yao's arm suddenly grew over 10 meters long. A human martial artist actually had a black arm that was over 10 meters long. It was too strange. The arm that suddenly grew over 10 meters long held the blade and ferociously slashed towards Luo Feng. This, what? Luo Feng was incomparably shocked and furious. The blade was already in front of him, and he had no time to dodge. Fall! With a thought, Luo Feng used his spiritual force on his bracers and exerted a downward force, causing his entire body to rapidly fall. Of course, no matter how fast he fell, he couldn't match the speed of an advanced-level wargod's blade. Luo Feng could only use his ghost blade to block the blade that was several times the speed of sound. Rumble, an unimaginable power was transmitted through the blade. Even though Luo Feng was trying his best to dissipate the force and was already falling as a buffer, Luo Feng still felt pain in his right hand. The web between his thumb and forefinger split open and his right arm instantly went numb. His entire body was like a cannonball as he ferociously fell into the wasteland. Boom! Like a falling meteorite, a gigantic pit that was around 7 to 8 meters wide was smashed into the wasteland. The 10 throwing knives that were originally surrounding the group of people immediately flew towards this gigantic pit. Only then did the panicking group of people calm down. They all turned their heads towards the pit. That Japanese, Bei Yuan gang, roared baka and charged over like lightning. Li Yao, who was in midair, also fell. What a strange blade! Luo Feng jumped out of the pit like lightning. His face was pale and there was blood at the corner of his mouth. How did his arm grow longer? Luo Feng felt as if his organs were displaced, and he felt terrible. Clearly, the impact just now was too great. Keep in mind that an advanced level wargod's fitness level usually has a fist strength of over 256,000 kilograms. And this Vulture Li Yao, as an experienced advanced level wargod, has a fist strength of 400,000 to 500,000 kilograms. Along with his fist strength can increase by a few times. His fist definitely exceeds 1,000,000 kg. In other words, it exceeds 1,000 tons. What a horrifying power! Luckily, that slash just now had been extended through the Black God set, allowing it to be unleashed. Because it was extended by around 10 meters, the power of this blade was only half of its normal power. Even with half of its power, Luo Feng's organs were shaken and he spat out fresh blood. Baka! Bei Yuan gang was already in front of him. This spirit reader is only at the beginner level war god level. A 19-year-old youth is able to become a beginner level war god level spirit reader. Not bad. Sadly, he's going to fall into my hands today. Bei Yuan gang easily blocked the 3 throwing knives before, which made him extremely confident. Plus, there are still small groups of Japanese in the world that are extremely jealous of China. Throughout history, Japan and China have always been entangled in conflict. However, the Grand Nirvana period was a devastating blow to them. China's territory is huge, so it wasn't affected as much. Plus, many powerful fighters appeared. For example, the world's strongest fighter, Hong, is from China. Even though Hong is extremely powerful right now, one thing is undeniable. Hong was definitely siding with Hua Xia in his heart. So China's position in the world is extremely high. And Japan, which was on par with China before the Grand Nirvana period, is now struggling at death's door and is scattered across many headquarter cities around the world. They don't even have a single government. How could they not be jealous of China? Not hate China? To be able to kill a genius of China with his own hands, Bei Yuan Gang felt his blood boil. Die. Bei Yuan Gang's eyes were like lightning as his aura shot through the sky. Japanese. Luo Feng looked at Bei Yuan Gang in front of him and frowned. Even though it's 2057 right now, as an outstanding high school graduate, Luo Feng was extremely clear about the history before the Grand Nirvana period. Facing the intermediate-level war god Bei Yuan Gang who instantly charged in front of him, Luo Feng only sneered. Idiot! Whoosh, 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 whoosh. A total of 6 throwing knives. Luo Feng can maintain the most amount of power in the largest area he can control. Not right. Bei Yuan Gang's eyes widened as he roared in his heart. The throwing knives aren't right. Why are they so much faster than before? Bei Yuan Gang, who was full of confidence and killing intent after easily blocking the 3 throwing knives, had a huge change in expression as he swung the shield in his hand with all his might. However, the 6 throwing knives were way too fast. Keep in mind that Luo Feng can defeat most advanced level war gods right now. Even Vulture Liao, without his black god set, would be at a disadvantage. Against an advanced level war god? Pucci. The first throwing knife directly pierced through Bei Yuan Gang's mouth and caused his head to explode. The other 5 throwing knives didn't have any effect at all. Intermediate-level war god, Bei Yuan Gang, fell. Vulture Liao, who had fallen to the ground, saw Luo Feng kill Bei Yuan Gang. His rage increased even more as he ferociously shot out and instantly tore through the air. His speed reached twice the speed of sound, and he arrived in front of Luo Feng in a flash. Retreat, retreat. Luo Feng's expression changed as his body exploded with 5x full power. His speed exceeded 400 meters per second. The support of his powerful spiritual force. Increased speed. His speed exceeded 500 meters per second. Even though Luo Feng's spiritual force is close to the level of an advanced level war god, and his driving force is very strong, the higher one's speed is, the harder it is to increase it. The air resistance increases exponentially, and even though his driving force increases by 2 to 3 times, Luo Feng's speed hasn't even increased by a third. Compared to Vulture Liao's speed of sound, there's still a huge difference. Die! Liao's left and right hands crazily slashed towards Luo Feng. I can't dodge it, Luo Feng clenched his teeth. His spiritual force wrapped around one of the slashes, but the moment it touched, Luo Feng felt as if his spiritual force had hit a mountain and instantly collapsed. The attack power contained in this slash was way too strong. Vulture Liao's expression also slightly changed. He clearly felt that the power of his slash was affected. Rumble, the slashes collided with Luo Feng's hexagonal shield. As if it was struck by lightning, the horrifying force caused the hexagonal shield to crash into Luo Feng's body, and Luo Feng's entire body was sent flying. Crack! His left arm, which was holding the hexagonal shield, was directly twisted. Bone fracture? Hopefully it's not broken. Luo Feng felt a sharp pain in his left elbow, so he used the force of the throw to charge towards the sky. Luo Feng! Vulture Liao roared. Rumble! He charged towards the sky and instantly neared Luo Feng. At the same time, He ferociously swung his arm. Who? His arm expanded, and the black arm that was around 10 meters long directly swept towards Luo Feng, as if it wanted to tie him up. Humph! Luo Feng's body drew an arc in midair, and immediately charged towards the sky. He was already 100 meters high and then swiftly flew towards the distant Ape Mountain range, disappearing from Vulture Li Yao's line of sight. In the wasteland, Vulture Li Yao's underlings were all panicking. They didn't think that a 19-year-old Chinese youth would be this terrifying. In a short moment, they already lost an intermediate-level war god, a beginner-level war god, and 18 elite. And 16 elites were heavily injured. Bastard! Vulture Li Yao's expression couldn't help but to become ferocious as 2 balls of fire seemed to be burning in his eyes. Li Yao, how can this Luo Feng be this strong? He's not like what your report said at all. The white-bearded brute, James, hugged his brother's corpse and roared furiously. Shut up! Li Yao angrily stared at James as his killing intent rose. James' heart skipped a beat. If this Li Yao killed him in the wasteland and pushed the blame onto Luo Feng, no one would know. After thinking about this, James didn't dare to get angry at Li Yao anymore. Bei Yuan Gang. Li Yao walked to the Japanese's corpse and his face became even uglier. He couldn't help but to angrily kick him. With a purring, Bei Yuan Gang's corpse directly exploded and blood splattered everywhere. This scene caused everyone on the scene to feel a chill in their hearts. James cursed even more. This vulture sure is cruel. Why would I want to earn his money back then? Silence. Everyone was shocked by Vulture Li Yao's ferocity. After kicking Bei Yuan Gang's corpse, Li Yao cursed, trash, rage. A stomach full of rage. Vulture Li Yao looked around and became even more furious. He didn't think that Luo Feng would give him such a big present as soon as he arrived. So many people died. Luo Feng. Vulture Li Yao clenched his teeth and squeezed out these 2 words. P.S. 2 updates complete. Tomato is very sorry that he didn't explode at such a crucial time. The main reason is that Tomato really doesn't have time. He'll be busy in the afternoon and will have to take a bus to Shanghai tomorrow morning. I hope everyone can understand. When Tomato arrives in Shanghai tomorrow, he will work hard to write. Explode. Tomorrow 3 updates. As for the monthly votes, I hope everyone supports me. If you have 1 monthly vote, vote for 1. If you have 2, vote for 2. If you don't have any, that's fine. Everyone knows their limits. To be honest, this month's Tomato is already very touched. After this month ends, Tomato will write a long chapter to chat with everyone. Finally, I'll shout, if you have monthly votes, throw them at Tomato. Chapter 144. Today's first update. Vulture Li Yao, who was fully armed and only revealed his eyes, nose and mouth, stood in the middle of the wasteland like a demon god. Everyone else was stunned by his ferocity. The smell of blood permeated the air. Who would have thought that this Luo Feng has already grown this strong? If it wasn't for the Black God set, I probably wouldn't even be able to defeat him. Vulture Li Yao squinted his eyes as a cold light flashed. He didn't die even after taking 2 direct attacks from me. And now that he knows how powerful my Black God set is, he probably won't let me get close again. Vulture Li Yao was also panicking. There's only one way. Chase him and force him into the air. And once he does, he'll become a target for the laser cannon. Vulture Li Yao let out a cold smile. Yeah, the laser cannon. Vulture Li Yao's face changed. He just saw Luo Feng's throwing knives massacre the crowd, and quite a few people died. Keep in mind that the laser cannon is humanity's most advanced weapon right now. Even if there are so many parts here, Vulture Li Yao can't install and operate such a high-tech weapon without professionals. Klein. Li Yao suddenly turned his head. A white man with a big beard ran over and said respectfully, Mr. Li, how are the casualties in your team? Asked Li Yao. Klein's face was pale as he replied respectfully, My team has a total of 9 people. 2 people died and 2 people were injured. Can you assemble the laser cannon and operate it? Asked Li Yao. Yeah. Klein slightly frowned. Li Yao's heart couldn't help but to skip a beat. This large laser cannon is humanity's most powerful weapon that can easily eliminate Horde leader-level monsters and heavily injure Emperor-level monsters. Naturally, many of them are complicated. Usually, there are people who specialize in a certain area. Sometimes, the laser cannon can't be assembled without a key person. But it's only in the T11P circuit. Klein was a bit hesitant. Let me ask you, can you assemble it now? Said Li Yao in a low voice. Klein saw Li Yao's cold expression and couldn't help but to be shocked. He clenched his teeth and said, with the 7 of us working together, we can do it. Very good, nodded Li Yao. Assemble now. Here? Klein was alarmed. Yes, right here. Li Yao sneered. I don't have time to transport these to the top of the mountain. I believe that Luo Feng won't be satisfied and will secretly climb to the top of the mountain to look at us. As soon as he shows his head, the laser cannon will be able to aim at him and kill him. Li Yao was very clear, since Luo Feng has already discovered their tracks, then transporting these laser cannon parts to the top of the mountain for assembly is very likely to be discovered by Luo Feng. Then, with Luo Feng's abilities, even though he can't defeat Li Yao, with the strange abilities of a spirit reader, destroying the laser cannon shouldn't be a problem. Klein nodded immediately. Yes. Klein immediately ran towards his team members. Li Yao also walked over to watch the professionals open the boxes. At the same time, he instructed, everyone else, keep a close eye on the surroundings. Absolutely do not let any monsters disturb or cause damage. Yes. Dozens of people answered in unison. Suddenly, there was a commotion among the members of the professional team. Li Yao looked over in confusion. Mr. Li, Mr. Li. Klein hurriedly ran over. What's wrong? Asked Li Yao. Mr. Li, just now. Klein's face was pale and he was trembling. Speak. Li Yao glared. Klein's voice trembled as he said, just now, when that spirit reader attacked, quite a few people hurriedly ran away. Some people ran in panic to avoid the throwing knives and knocked over the boxes. Even one of the boxes was pierced through by a randomly flying throwing knife. What? Li Yao's face changed greatly. Knocking over a box shouldn't be a big problem with the cushioning of the delicate components in the box. However, if a throwing knife pierced through a box, then the components in the box will definitely be destroyed. Hurry, open that box for me. Li Yao hurriedly walked over. Klein also hurriedly ran over. At this time, the other members of the team were standing next to a box with ugly expressions on their faces. Li Yao also clearly saw that the side of the box had a hole that pierced through the entire box. Even the naked eye could see some glass shards. Clearly, the components inside have been damaged. Bastard! Li Yao's eyes were red. Such a big problem actually occurred as soon as he arrived. Actually, Li Yao didn't know. Back then, Luo Feng only cared about killing people and didn't care about these boxes. However, 3 of the throwing knives were blocked and sent flying by the intermediate-level war god, Bei Yuan Gang. With the throwing knives' shocking speed, when they were blocked and sent flying, they were naturally still very powerful. One of the throwing knives pierced through this box. Mr. Li, if the components inside are radar guides, then there shouldn't be much of a problem, said Klein. Open it, Li Yao furiously roared as he looked at the professionals. These professionals also knew. With the temper of the boss in front of them, if the laser cannon is damaged and can no longer be assembled, then there will only be one outcome for these useless people: being killed by the boss. Immediately, these professionals started disassembling and opening the box. Voila! The box opened. Klein stared. It's energy? Energy? All the professionals on the side also stared. What's wrong? Li Yao stared at Klein on the side. Klein carefully looked at the box and excitedly said to Li Yao, Mr. Li, our luck is just too good. This pierced box contains the energy for the laser cannon. Even though 2 of the energy units are damaged, there's still one that's perfectly fine. In other words, the laser cannon's energy can be used to fire one attack at a high frequency. Every second level can be used 3 times. Li Yao let out a sigh of relief. Thankfully, it's energy. Every second level attack can be used 3 times. Every single one of these 3 attacks could easily kill the strongest war god and the strongest horde leader monsters. Begin assembling, ordered Li Yao. Yes, all the professionals felt like they dodged a bullet and immediately started assembling. Ape Mountain Range, Luofeng's base. In a dark cave, Luofeng sat on the ground and leaned against the stone wall. His face was a bit pale. Good, my bones aren't broken. Luofeng lightly rubbed his left elbow. As he recalled the scene from before, Luofeng still had some lingering fear. This vulture Li Yao's strength is already at the advanced level war god level. His brute force alone is around 400,000 to 500,000 kilograms. Plus, his strength increases by 3 to 4 times, so his blade is definitely over 1,000,000 kg. Just now, Vulture Li Yao's blade was disrupted by his spiritual force and landed on his shield, but it still fractured his bones. In midair, Vulture Li Yao's extended arm slashed out, which also made Luofeng vomit blood and cut open his right hand. However, because this blade was extended by the Black God set, it only had half of its full strength. These 2 blades. Vulture Li Yao wasn't even able to use his full strength. Even so, Luofeng couldn't fight back at all. His speed is faster than mine. His attacks are stronger than mine. His defense is also much stronger than mine, and my advantage is that my attacks are more unpredictable, so it's easier for me to escape. Luofeng slightly frowned. That Black God set is way too special. It can actually expand according to a person's will. Not only can it cover the entire body, but it can also extend for around 10 meters. This makes it easy for me to get hit while I'm in midair. When he was escaping, that Li Yao actually tried to use his enlarged arm to tie him up. Once he's tied up, he's probably done for. Next time I fight with this Li Yao, I have to maintain a distance of over 20 meters, Luofeng decided to himself. While Luofeng was resting in his base, Li Yao displayed his incomparably powerful abilities on the wasteland. He beat the leader of a horde of monsters, a horde leader, to the point of fleeing in defeat. After that, no horde of monsters dared to bother these humans anymore. Mr. Li, the assembly is complete, said Klein excitedly. Oh! Li Yao walked over. In front of him was a large satellite-like device. This device had 2 wings that were around 10 meters long. In the center was a cylindrical device that looked like a turbine. On the 2 sides of this large cylinder there were 2 smaller cylinders. Did you find Luofeng's location? Asked Li Yao. Got it. Klein pointed at the radar on the side. This Luofeng is within 5 kilometers of us. Our radar can barely detect him. However, radars were usually used to search for large objects. After all, the human body was too small. Once the distance was too far, it would be very difficult to lock onto the target. If that's the case, we can only lock onto it with a laser. Laser lock? Li Yao frowned. Yes. Klein nodded. Laser-guided lock-on. Its advantage is its extremely high accuracy. It can lock onto a target from very far away. But its weakness was that there couldn't be any obstacles between it and the target. For example, there's a huge mountain in front of us, so it's impossible to lock onto us with the laser. Of course, now that we're close, there's no need to do that. The radar can lock onto the target, Klein said confidently. Can you kill him now? Klein pressed. I can't. Klein shook his head and said, the target is now inside the mountain range, inside one of the mountains. Just from here to the target, there is more than 300 meters of rock. If a laser were to penetrate such a thick rock, its power would have long been exhausted. 300 meters of rock. No matter how powerful a war god is, one punch can't penetrate a mountain 300 meters deep. However, as long as he pops his head out of the mountain range, or as long as the rock is within 10 meters of him, I can penetrate it and kill him, Klein said confidently. Very good. Li Yao's eyes flashed, lock onto Luofeng. I don't believe. With how sly this kid is, he'll definitely use his binoculars to peek at me. Once the target is in a state where you can shoot him, kill him. Yes, Klein replied loudly. Li Yao looked at the ape mountain range in the distance and a sneer appeared on his face. You should be proud of dying to a laser cannon, ****. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. Today, Tomato didn't release 3 chapters, but 4. There's only one reason. I want to be number 1. To make up for the regret of 9 cauldrons, I want to be number 1. For the readers who moved me the most, I want to be number 1. For the persistence in Tomato's heart, I want to be number 1. Number 1. I really want to be number 1. All the brothers of Tomato, please support Tomato. On the last day of September, please support Tomato. See if you still have any votes, and vote for Tomato. I, Tomato, want to be number 1. Not for anything else. Just for the regret in my heart, just for the persistence in my heart, just for the readers who are the most adorable in my heart. All of my monthly votes, please vote for Tomato. Tomato thanks all of my brothers. Thank you. Voting method. Click on the Recommend Author for monthly votes at the bottom of this page. Whether you have it or not, please click. Thank you everyone.